A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Kroger Tender Ray Beef. No other beef so fresh can be so tender. Presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed. K is for Kroger. C is for cut. B is for beef. KCB means Kroger cut beef. And Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. It's a fact, ladies. And here's the reason Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. Before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. Yes, that's before the meat is weighed and priced. So you can see that means more meat for your money. You get top U.S. government grades of beef, meat that's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. You get a better value in top-grade beef. For example, when you buy a Kroger-cut porterhouse steak, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes the long, stringy end and excess waste before the steak is weighed and priced. You don't pay steak price for stringy meat and excess waste. Remember, whether you buy a steak or roast, you receive more meat, less waste. But see for yourself. Visit your neighborhood Kroger store, get Kroger-cut beef, and get more meat for your money. And now, Hearts in Harmony. Different people see the same thing in different ways. Freddie Lang feels that Peg Martin and her daughter Julie are going to Barry Carlson's mansion as part of Peg's scheme to take Barry away from Penny. Penny feels that it's no such thing. In fact, she says to Julie,
"Oh, Julie, I've never seen you look so lovely."
Is this dress really all right, Aunt Penny?
Oh, darling, it's beautiful.
Uncle Barry will like it?
I don't see how he can help but like it. Now, look, you better run back upstairs and finish dressing. Uncle Barry will be here in a minute.
But you aren't dressed, Aunt Penny.
I'm not going with you, Julie.
What?
Nope, wasn't invited.
Why not?
Oh, maybe because I've seen the mansion.
Oh. Is it really like a castle, Aunt Penny?
Just like a castle in a fairy story, Julie.
Does it have a princess and a tower and a place where dragons get killed?
Well, it doesn't have a princess or any dragons, but it does have a tower. And a beautiful queen who's very old.
Uncle Barry's mother is a queen?
Well, not in the strict sense of the word, Julie, but she looks as though she were a queen. That's the important thing.
Do I curtsy when I go in and see her?
No, darling, I don't think you have to do that as long as you're polite. And I know you'll be polite.
Oh, I have to be. Mommy says I have to be very polite.
You just be the way you always are, darling. And I'm sure that... Oops, there's your Uncle Barry now. You better hurry upstairs and finish dressing.
All right, Aunt Penny, I'll hurry. But I'll tell Mommy to hurry.
Don't rush too much, darling. I'm sure Uncle Barry will wait for you.
Oh, good evening, darling.
Hello, Barry.
You're going to think I'm an awful stoop, unless you think so already.
Why?
I ought to have my head examined. I didn't realize it till I started up the front walk.
What in the world are you talking about?
Oh, gosh, I was afraid no one would tell you. I guess I didn't because
Barry,
I didn't
come
think
in
it
and
was...
sit down. Peggy and Julie will be down in just a minute.
Oh, then you do know.
Yes, I do know. You think you're the only person in the world who tells me things?
Penny, I don't blame you now if you're angry with
I'm not angry with you. I'm just puzzled, that's all. I certainly don't understand why you didn't tell me.
Well, because I just didn't think it was important enough. Maybe you think I'm lying to you,
Why
but
should you lie to me? Why should I think you're lying?
Well, I should have had enough sense to tell you about tonight. I might have known when I came to call for them that I'd bump right into you. I feel so stupid.
Don't feel that way about it, Barry. It's a very nice thing you're doing for Julie.
That's the only reason I'm doing this. You know it. And, Penny, you know why I didn't ask you at the same time, don't you?
Look, you don't think my feelings are hurt because I'm left out, do you?
I hope not. You see the mansion almost every day, and you know what would happen if Mother got her hands on you tonight. You'd have your nose in a ledger all evening.
Oh, I don't know how she talks me into working after dinner, but she always does.
You'd like one night of rest for me and for Mother, too, now wouldn't you?
Barry, I'm looking forward to a quiet evening at home with pleasure.
Good, then you do understand, do you?
Yes, of course I do.
And you're not angry.
No, darling, I'm not angry. haven't done exactly the right thing in this matter, but if you always did the right thing, then you'd be perfect, and I wouldn't want you to be perfect.
Don't worry. You'll never be able to accuse me of being perfect. The only thing you'll ever be able to accuse me of is being in love with you. I plead guilty to that on all counts.
Will you stay guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
The sentence is pretty stiff.
As long as it's the two-word sentence, I do, I'll be more than satisfied to spend the rest of my life tied to your apron strings.
Oh, you put me in the kitchen to do the dishes already, have you?
Don't tell me I have to dry them.
You certainly will.
Wonder if they make a fellow do dishes in the Foreign Legion.
Oh,
Penny,
Mm-hmm.
we're announcing our engagement in the paper this Sunday. Don't you think we ought to set a date for the wedding?
Yep, I suppose we should. Has your mother been talking to you?
Uh-huh. She's more anxious than we are. Did she tell you that, too?
Yes, she did. I wonder why she does want us to marry so soon.
Probably because she doesn't have much faith in my stability. Maybe she's afraid my feeling for you is just another one of my passing fancies.
And is it?
You know it isn't. I won't say all the things I know I ought to say at a time like this. I can't say them. I'm not built that way. All I know is that I've never felt about anyone in my whole life the way I feel about you. As long as I have eyes that see, I'm satisfied to look at no one but you. As long as I have ears that hear, I'll be content to hear no other voice but yours.
That was a very lovely speech, Barry.
Well, if it was pure luck. I'm not very good at saying things I want to say. At least not when I'm being serious.
Darling, you don't have to say anything. Words don't really mean very much. We aren't in love with each other because we said we were in love. No, we were in love long before we tried to put our feelings into words. So, let's not...
Barry?
Yes, Peg.
Julie and I will be down in just a minute. Sorry we've kept waiting.
It's all right, Peg. What were you saying, Penny?
Nothing important. Nothing that we don't already know, Barry. Look, have a nice time tonight, darling, and show Julie a good time. She's been excited about this all day.
Well, I hope she's not disappointed.
No, I don't think she will be. For your sake, though, I hope she doesn't ask too many questions you can't answer. Oh, golly, what questions that child can ask.
Oh, Uncle Barry, that's the biggest clock I've ever seen. Even bigger than a man.
Yes, and it's older than the oldest man on Earth, too, Julie. Mother tells me it's 200 years old.
Is that older than your mommy?
Yes, slightly. Come on in here. I'll show you the library.
All right. Why are the doors in your castle so big, Uncle Barry? Did giants live here once?
Well, yes, in a way. A giant built it.
All by himself?
No, I was referring to my father. He was a big man. Not in size so much as in importance. He liked big things. Here, look at this library, for instance.
Oh, it has a porch, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a balcony, Julie.
I've never seen a porch inside a house before. Why is it in here instead of outside?
Well, this room is almost 2 stories high, Julie, and there has to be a balcony, or porch, as you call it, so that we can get at the books up there.
Oh, lucky. A stairs that goes round and around.
Uh-huh. That's a spiral staircase.
I bet you get dizzy when you slide down the banister, don't you, Uncle Barry?
I'm sure I would if I tried. Now, let's go this way, into the main entrance hall. Hey, Julie, do you like goldfish?
Oh, yeah. Oh, lucky. A big pool with a fountain. Is it for swimming?
Yes, but only for goldfish. Although I tried swimming in it when I was about your size.
Oh, it's beautiful, Uncle Barry.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had a little lake in Aunt Penny's house.
Well, I'm afraid this is a little large for Penny's house, Julie. There. See? Fish swimming in and out of their castle.
Uh-huh. Is that where they live?
Yeah, that's where they live.
I wouldn't like to be a fish.
You wouldn't? Why not?
Fish can't go any place where there isn't water. Yeah. And I have most of my fun out of the water.
Well, so do I, Julie.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, hello.
Good heavens, I thought I'd never find you.
Hi, Peg.
Mommy, we saw a room with a porch in it. And here's a pool with millions of fish in it.
Yes, isn't it lovely, Julie? Oh, Julie, dear, your Aunt Carrie is all alone. Wouldn't you like to go in and talk to her again?
Well, I want to see some more of Uncle Barry's castle. He says we can go up in the tower.
Well, we'll come and get you when it's time to go up in the tower. Your Aunt Carrie would like to talk to you.
All right, Mommy. You won't go to the tower and forget to take me, will you, Uncle Barry?
No, Julie, I promise I won't. Now, can you find your way back to Mother?
Oh, yes, I can find her. She's in a big room where I can walk in the fireplace to find.
All right.
Oh, Barry, she's getting such a thrill out of this. I can't thank you enough for this evening.
Well, I'm getting a kick out of this myself. You know, I never realized there was so much to see in this house. Well, do you and Mother have a nice talk?
Oh, yes. She's a delightful woman, Barry.
Well, she's nice to the people she likes, and anything but nice to the people she doesn't like.
Oh, well, then we must have passed. Mm-hmm. Or she's being nice to us for your sake. She seemed to be crazy about Julie at dinner this evening.
It's easy to be crazy about that daughter of yours, Peg. You know how dangerous her charm is, though, don't you?
Hmm. What did you say?
Nothing. You know. Here, come on, I'll show you our rogues gallery.
Barry, what did you mean about Julie's charm?
Nothing important. It's just a compliment to Julie's winning ways. Now, here are paintings of my family from way back. Mostly on my father's side, of course. Mother's family was too normal for this sort of thing. There's Obadiah Carlton, who started the ball rolling with a $10 bill in 1817. Died in 1839 with an Indian arrow in his heart and $500,000 in his bank. And that's his son Oscar next to him.
You look a great deal like him.
Looks don't count. He took his father's $500,000 and turned it into $10 million by 1889. All I've done so far is spend money.
A man's money doesn't interest me as long as he does. Oh, who's that next to Oscar?
Oh, that's my father. He took Oscar's $10 million and built it into, well, too many millions to count.
Then why should you worry about making more? What did they accomplish in their lives that you can't accomplish with a modest job and modest living?
Well, I have no intentions of adding to the Carlton fortune. But I don't want to ruin it, either.
You won't.
I hope not.
I'm glad you showed me your family, Barry. It makes me understand you so much better. I know now why I like you so much. Feel as if I have to lean on you a little. There's something so solid about you.
Well, there's my bank account.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about your background as a person, your family, the prestige of being a Carlton, the responsibility of being a Carlton. It's not your money, it's your strength as a person that makes you so attractive.
Is that a confession of some sort, Peg?
Would you think I was awful if I did confess to you?
No, not at all. Funny, but as I look at you, I'm inclined to want to make a confession of my own.
Is Peg Martin making progress in her efforts to undermine the happiness of Penny Gibbs? Is Barry showing a sudden interest in Peg, or does he see through her scheme? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. KCB. KCB. KCB means Kroger cut beef, and Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. Yes, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste, because before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. In buying Kroger cut rib roast, for example, you don't pay rib roast price for excess bone and waste. The chine bone is trimmed, the waist and short rib end removed, giving you top U.S. government grades of beef that's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. And before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, waste, and stringy ends. Remember, whether you buy a steak or roast, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat for your money. But mind you, you can get Kroger cut beef only at your neighborhood Kroger store. So go there as soon as you can. Step up to the meat counter and ask the Kroger meat man for Kroger cut beef. You'll get delicious and juicy and tender beef. And you'll get more meat, less waste. That means you get more meat for your money at your Kroger store. Listen in again Monday, same time, same station, for another thrilling transcribed chapter of Hearts in Harmony.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire.
From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, Appointment in Tomorrow by Fritz Leiber.
The first angry rays of the sun, which surprisingly enough still rose in the east at 24-hour intervals, pierced the lacy tops of Atlantic combers and touched thousands of sleeping Americans with unconscious fear because of the unpleasant similarity to the ray from World War III's thermonuclear weapons. This was America approaching the end of the 20th century, America of the mask fad for women and the Neo-Cretan dress styles, America of your local radiation hospital, of the endless war and the loyalty detector. In his bedroom in the Thinkers Foundation, George Helmut slept.
Good calculus to the nucleus, adding a quantum equal to the resultant of G sub 1 prime. Repeating, the quantum...
His educational sandman purred learnedly in his ear, droning tensor calculus through the night, filling the hours that used to hold man's formless fears and floating anxieties with the rigid form and anchored shapes of mathematics. Precisely at 8, the sidereal alarm went off.
Yeah. Ooh, my head. Oh, shower. 96.8, commence.
Under the soothing spray of the body temperature robo-shower, Helmut took a deep breath and cast his mind to the limits of the world and his knowledge. It was a somewhat shadowy vision, but he noted with impartial approval, definitely less shadowy than yesterday morning.
Off. Dry blast, commence.
Employing a rapid mental scanning technique, he cleared his memory chains of false associations, including those acquired while asleep. He felt the snap of clearing non-thalamic reasoning returning as the brain surged into clear, sharp control.
Off. Clothing. Color key 705.
He stepped into his clothing, the severe tunic, tights, and sockasins of the modern businessman. He smiled. The next big move had come to him in his sleep, as many of his best decisions did, because he utilized the time-saving technique of somno thought, which could function at the same time as somno learning.
Attention, robo-locator. Category, rocket physicist. Classification, genius level. Time limit for search, 20 minutes. Commence. Take dictation. Dear fellow scientist, a project is contemplated that will have a crucial bearing on man's future in deep space. Ample non-military government funds are available. There was a time when professional men scoffed at the Thinkers Foundation. Then there was a time when the thinkers perforce neglected the professional men. Now both times are past. I would like to consult you this afternoon, 3 o'clock sharp, Thinkers Foundation, signed George Helmut. End of dictation.
The president is waiting to see Maisie, sir. He has the general staff with him.
Martian peace to him. Tell him I'll be down in a few minutes.
Huge as a primitive nuclear reactor, Maisie, the great electronic brain, loomed over the knot of hushed-voiced men. Its front was an orderly expanse of controls, indicators, telltales, and terminals, the upper ones reached by a chair on a boom. This was the machine with 1,000,000 times as many synapses as the human brain, the machine that remembered by cutting delicate little notches on the rims of molecules. This was the machine that timid cyberneticists and stuffy professional scientists had said could not be built. Yet this was the machine that the thinkers, with characteristic Yankee push, had built, and named, with characteristic irreverence, Maisie.
Have you the question for the day, Mr. President?
Here, Mr. Helmut.
I see.
The question on the Pakistan crisis is a little touchy. I don't know.
If there is enough data to answer it, Maisie will do so.
Well, of course, I didn't mean to. Of
if
course.
you will excuse me, gentlemen, I will code the questions for Maisie. Oh, Section 5, Question 4. Whom would that come from?
Number 4. Physics. Opperly and his research team.
I see. Thank you, Mr. President. While I'm coding the tape, there will be time to watch the takeoff of the Mars rocket.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I've often wanted to go to New Mexico. As a matter of fact, I've always wanted to go right through to Mars.
Mr. President.
My chief of staff thinks the project should be under the Army instead of the Thinkers Foundation.
Mr. President, this is the way Maisie designed the project.
Oh, I know. That's what I told him. Still, I wish you people could bring back a few of those wise little devils from Mars. It would be a good thing for the party, the country.
It's quite unthinkable. The telepathic abilities of the Martians make them extremely sensitive. The conflicts of ordinary Earth minds would impinge on them psychotically. Only the thinkers can contact them because of the clear training and errorless memory chains. Perhaps someday, in the future... there goes the rocket.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I am ready to submit the question tapes to Maisie. Stand back, gentlemen.
Oh, well, sorry.
And now... All right, gentlemen. Maisie is thinking.
The question tape, like a New Year's streamer tossed out of a high window into the night, sped on its dark way along spinning rollers. Curling with an intricate aimlessness, it tantalized the silver fingers of 1,000 relays, saucily evaded the glances of 10,000 electric eyes, impishly darted down a narrow black alleyway of memory banks, and, reaching the center of the cube, suddenly emerged into a small room where a sweating fat man in shorts sat drinking beer.
Here it comes. Get off my lap, honey. I've got work to do.
Can it wait?
I said get.
Oh, you didn't have to do that.
When Maisie thinks, she thinks. Open up another beer.
Look, I'm not a robo-barmaid.
Honey, do what you're told, or I'll ship you out where they'll work some of the upholstery off that frame, slopping radioactive mud.
You don't have to get nasty, Jan. Here's your beer.
That's better.
It makes you fat.
I like to be fat. It makes our relationship more poignant. Pass me the questions and get over to your keyboard.
You're a greasy pig.
But such an attractive pig. Start taping. Why, that dirty...
What's the matter?
One of the questions. Does Maisie stand for male Zell?
For what?
Male Zell.
Does it?
Look, you just keep sitting on your brains and let me do the thinking. Tape. Maisie does not stand for male Zell. Maisie stands for amazing, humorously given the form of a girl's name.
Who is Maelzel?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Huh?
It's a story. Maelzel's chess player. About an automaton that was supposed to play chess. Poe proved it had a man inside it.
Oh, and they want to know if Maisie... They're wrong. Maisie doesn't have a man inside it. Just a lump of conceited lard. You could hit me with that. Look at my dress.
Get me another glass of beer. That must have come from the physics section of the Research Institute. Opperly and that ape Farquhar. Well, we'll look into that. All right, start taping. Question 1. The midterm election vidcast should be spaced as follows.
Morton Opperly's living room was quite behind the times. Instead of reading tapes, there were books. And instead of a 4x6 TV screen, there was a Picasso, still faintly radioactive from being smuggled out of the Manhattan crater. Two physicists faced each other across the table. Old Mr. Opperly and young Mr. Farquhar.
About that male Zell question, Willard. Why do you keep teasing the zoo animals?
Because the thinkers are charlatans who must be exposed. We know their Maisie is no more than a tea-leaf reading fake. We've traced their Mars rockets, and we know they go into orbit 500 miles above Earth and stay there until it's time to come down with the latest miraculous Martian mental science.
But we've already exposed the thinkers very thoroughly. You know the good it did. Willard, the age we live in wants magicians. A scientist tells people the truth. When times are good, when the truth offers no threat, people don't mind. But when times are very, very bad, well, a magician tells people what they wish were true. That perpetual motion works, that colored lights can cure cancer, that a psychosis is no worse than a bad cold, and that they live forever. In good times, magicians are laughed at. They're the luxury of a spoiled, wealthy few. But in bad times, people sell their souls for magic cures and buy perpetual motion machines to power their war rockets.
Are we supposed to beg off from a job because it's difficult and dangerous?
In my day, Willard, I was one of the frightened men. Later, I was one of the angry men. And then one of the minds of despair. And now I'm convinced that all of my reactions were futile.
Exactly. You reacted. You didn't act. If you men who discovered atomic energy had only formed a secret league, if you'd only had the guts and foresight to use your tremendous bargaining power to...
Willard, we scientists weren't the stuff of which cloak and dagger men are made. Can you imagine Oppenheimer wearing a mask or old Einstein sneaking into the White House with a bomb in his briefcase? That's not the way power is seized. New ideas aren't useful to men bargaining for power. Only established facts or lies are.
What do you want to do? Surrender the world to charlatans without a struggle? The thinkers are vulnerable. Their power is based on a series of lies.
All power is. The greater the lie, the greater the power.
What's it based on? A few lucky guesses, some faith healing, some science hocus pocus.
The power of the thinkers isn't based on what they've got, but on what the world hasn't got. Peace, honor, a good conscience.
They've sent for me.
Who? Jan Tregerin?
No. George Helmut. I got the radiogram an hour ago. They know they'll have to produce a real nuclear rocket pretty soon, and they'll need our help.
I'm afraid, Willard.
You think it might be a trap? After the Mel Zell question, you think they might want to shut me up?
I'm not afraid for your life. I'm worried about other things they might do to you.
They'd better be worried about the things I'm going to do to them.
Martian peace to you, Willard Farquhar. You have entered the Thinkers' Foundation. Please remain on the slideway.
I want to see George Helmut.
May we take your hat and coat?
What the...
Do not be alarmed. Invisible radiations are slaughtering all the germs in your body, while more delicate emanations are producing a benign rearrangement of your emotions.
Claptrap. I can recognize a 14-cycle sonic note when I hear one. Where's Helmut?
This way, please.
Helmut, cut out all this swami stuff. Where are you?
I'm afraid Mr. Helmut won't be able to meet you, Mr. Farquhar. I'm Jan Tregerin. Perhaps you can have your conversation with me.
George Helmut waited in the conference room with 24 empty chairs. He had prepared by 2 hours' rest with the Somno teacher on full volume for this conference, having strengthened his mind by hard years of Somno learning, memory straightening, and sensory training. He had assured himself of the executive power to control the technicians and direct their specialized abilities. Together, they would have built the true Mars rocket. But, unfortunately, no one came.
Where are they? Report.
No word from the door, Master.
They can't all be late. Did you check?
The calls have been put through.
What response?
Dr. Burnside reports he received the second message just in time.
What second message?
The message calling off the meeting.
Did he read the text of the second message back?
Shall I play it back?
Never mind. How was it signed? The signature?
Signature, Mr. Jan Tregeron.
George Helmut dejectedly examined his organizational charts, and then tapping his stylo on the pad, he extended his mental aura, cleared his memory chains of error, accelerated his cerebral processes by the Haber-Gerson process he'd practiced for so many years. Slowly, he could feel the tight, heart-squeezing disappointment ebb. He was in control again. Tregeron, he was the one to blame. Tregeron, who was so used to working by deception that he must be shown the light.
Well, Willard, how was your adventure among the magicians?
Well, they didn't hurt me.
You're sure? And are you as determined as ever to smash and expose the thinkers?
Of course. Only from now on I won't embarrass you by asking any Male Zell questions. After this, I shall bore from within.
Now, where have I heard that phrase before? Do I understand that you are becoming a thinker, Willard?
Certainly. That's the only way to smash them. Out-trick all their trickeries. Organize a fifth column. Then strike.
The end justifying the means, of course.
Of course.
I wonder if becoming a thinker doesn't simply mean that you've decided to use lies and tricks as your chief method. Well, you're working with Helmuth?
Not Helmuth. Tregeron. I'm afraid that Helmut's career as a thinker is going to have quite a setback.
Ah, well. Goodbye, Willard.
Tregeron, I want to talk to you.
Shall I leave?
No, please stay.
Jan?
Stay. You ought to enjoy this. George has that errorless memory chain.
Tregeron, you know why I'm here.
I don't know. I've been sadly remiss in my precognition and clairvoyance exercise. I've been too busy with other things, other people, other exercises. But I don't need Major to guess.
You just went ahead and canceled the conference without consulting me.
You called it without consulting me. Shouldn't do that sort of a thing, George.
I was absolutely sure of my ground, perfectly prepared. I visualized it. The rocket boosting up on chemical power, then setting sail.
Sail? Sail? A nuclear reactor rocket. Oh, George, you're fabulous.
Yes, sail. Thin streams of nuclear reflecting material and the rocket feeding meson streams behind it. I conceived it all, complete, except for technical details.
George, you are a thinker. A real thinker.
I know.
Now, look here, George. Every man should stick to his trade. Technology isn't ours.
You know as well as I do that we're going to have a nuclear spaceship and actually go to Mars someday.
Are we?
Yes. Just as we're going to have to build an actual Maisie. I helped you organize the thinkers. At least I was your first partner. Our basic idea was that the time had come to apply science to the life of man on a large scale. The only thing holding the world back from this was the ignorance and superstition of the average man and the stubbornness and lack of enterprise of the academic scientists. Their worship of facts, even when the facts were clearly dangerous.
Splendid. Splendid. Caddy, get me another beer.
I'm filing my nails. All right, all right.
Everybody wanted the new world. The trips to Mars, the knowledge of the human brain. All they lacked was the nerve to take the first big step. And that was what we supplied.
Here's your beer.
There was no time for slow and careful plotting. We couldn't afford to check and double-check. We couldn't wait for the grudging approval of the professionals. We had to use fake stunts, tricks, anything to get over the big point. Once that was done, mankind was headed down the new road. It was easy to just heal the breach with the professionals and to make good in actuality what had been made good in pretense.
Very good. The beer.
We built Maisie. We built the Mars rocket. We discovered the wisdom of the Martians. We sold the people and the science the professionals had been too high-toned to advertise or bring into the marketplace. But now that we'd succeeded, it's time to let accomplishment catch up with imagination, to implement fantasy with fact. You suppose I would have gone in with you if I hadn't known that someday we'd actually make what we claimed we had already made?
Oh? Oh, was that it?
John, the day's come. And I'm the man. I've prepared myself.
Caddy, clear the decks.
All right. I know. You just want room to point that fat finger.
I want her to stay.
All right. George, look, every revolutionary wants to see the big change take place in his lifetime. But time for the second step. George, the average man's exactly where he was 10 years ago when we took over. Except he's got a new god. More than ever, he thinks of Mars as a Hollywood paradise with wise men and yummy princesses, like Caddy here.
You think I'm yummy, really?
Shut up. Maisie is Mama, magnified 1,000,000 times. The professional scientists, they're more jealous and stuffy than ever. All they like to do is turn the clock back to a genteel dream world of square caps and quadrangles.
Bravo!
I said shut up. George, maybe in 10,000 years we'll be ready for the second big step. Meanwhile, the clever will rule the stupid. The realists will rule the dreamers. George, did you actually think you could have bossed those professionals? Nuclear scientists? Rocket physicists? Oh, now listen to me, boy. They'd have torn you to pieces in 20 minutes, and glad of the chance. George, you baffle me. You know that Maisie and the Mars trips and all that are fakes, yet you believe in your somno-learning and consciousness expansion and optimism pumping like a corn-fed yokel.
There is a place for the man who has the courage to dream.
Sure. In a straitjacket. Oh, George, you remind me of those men who used to put out those lurid little magazines with Caddy's grandmother on the cover in outer space in a stripped-down bathing suit.
My grandmother never...
I said shut up! That's what it is. Frustrated little men playing science god to generations of pimply high school chemistry students and gas station attendants, conning them into thinking they're in the know, sprinkling a few formulas to the garbage and playing Atom Smasher, and then being very solemn about the role of imagination in science. George, the trouble with you is they forgot to take your zap gun and space cadet decoder pin away from you when you turned 13.
That's your honest opinion?
It's more than that. George, get a hold of yourself and quit taking fantasy in the veins. That's an order.
Jan, the strange part of it is that I know as well as you do that Maisie and the Mars trips are fakes, but some things aren't. The human mind, Jan, is a tool that hasn't been perfected yet. There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamed of in your philosophy, Horatio.
Who's Horatio?
I said shut up. This is the last full cackle, George. You've been fooling around with ESP, huh? Telepathy? Maybe a little hypnotism?
Maybe.
All right. Guess what I've got in my drawer? Extend your consciousness. Telepath it. Visualize it. Never mind. I'll save you the mental effort. It's a pistol, see? Now, let me tell you something. I got a couple of boys waiting outside. They'll take you by jet to New Mexico. George, congratulations. You're leaving for Mars tomorrow.
Mars?
Yes. I've decided Mars to be the best place for you. We'll arrange it so that your trip is, say, 2 years long. Perhaps in that time, orbiting up there, you'll learn a little Martian wisdom. For example, the big liar must never fall for his own lie. Meanwhile, I got a replacement for you. His name is Willard Farquhar.
But I sent for him to...
Yes. You see, I, too, believe in cooperation with the scientists. But by subversion. I'll offer them the hand of friendship with a big, fat bribe in it. You know what the bribe is? The power to destroy me. That's what I'm offering. Join us. Learn our secrets. Bore from within. Bide your time before you strike. But while he's biding, I'll have him. And when he's ready to strike, you'll find it's not quite the time. Wait a little bit. Enjoy the power. Play with fat old Jan Tragerin like a cat. And by then I'll have him.
You can't replace me, Jan.
Oh, you were a good man, George. When we needed catchy slogans, ray guns, plastic helmets, fancy sweaters.
I warned you, Jan. Don't underestimate the mind. The human brain. Even Caddy here is a fascinating instrument. For example, I had a little talk with Caddy last week.
Very boring.
Ah, but useful. But when we were finished, her mind had something it didn't have before.
You always were educational, George.
Caddy, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Now, put your hand on his arm. Now, take his gun.
Caddy, are you crazy?
I've got his gun. What now?
You see, Jan, there is a place for the dreamer, the man who believes, who can use his mind. I'm going to get rid of you, Jan, because the man who dares to dream will rule. Caddy, look at me. Look at me. Point the gun at him. Look at me.
I can't anymore. It's too ridiculous. Jan, take your silly gun back. It's too heavy.
What? Caddy, I command you. Look at me. Look at me.
The power of the mind. Hey, boys, come in and get him.
I don't understand. Caddy, look at me.
Oh, all right, I'll look at you. Poor Superman.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features You Go by E.C. Tubb, which proves that for pure, chilling horror, nothing can beat cold, hard facts. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Appointment in Tomorrow, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Fritz Leiber and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Ted Osborne, Dean Almquist, Pat Hosley, Bob Hastings, Arthur Hughes, and Charles Penman. Your narrator was Floyd Mack. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents X-1.
The Martian Death March.
I've always been interested in lost causes. The revolt of the Scottish Jacobites against England, the last stand of the Cherokee and Sioux Indians, and the death march of the Martian Highlanders in 1997. There's been a lot written about that march. The UN Commission report covers 4 volumes, but the whole story isn't down on paper yet. I know it because I was on that march from the beginning to the end. There's one part of the story that no one ever mentions. The Martian Death March of 97 was led by an Earthman. Maybe you've been over the route of the march. There wasn't any highway there 30 years ago in 97. There was desert, hot, burning desert. I lived at the edge of the Calmac Canal then with my father. He was a prospector searching the surrounding desert with sonar probe and Geiger counter, scratching just enough ore from under the Martian sands to pay for our grub stake the next year. I remember he was in the Adamson digger in the North Quadrant when I came running out that day.
There's somebody coming, Dad, across the desert.
You sure?
I saw them. They're a couple of miles out.
Well, how many cars?
They're on foot.
On foot across the desert?
Honest, Dad. I saw them.
Are you sure it wasn't a light reflection off the canal?
No. It was dark against the sand.
I don't like that. You run back and get the rifles out. I've got to pull the digger into the shed.
Is there going to be fighting, Dad?
I don't know. I got a whole year's ore piled out back in the bins, and I ain't going to lose it to no claim jumpers. You go back to the shack and break out those rifles and see they're loaded, you hear? And jump.
Dad had 3 surplus Army rifles and a couple of homemade grenades made out of ore cans stuffed with Adamson A explosives. We crouched inside the shack, waiting. The shadow of the water tower in the doorway grew longer as the quick Martian dusk settled down over the desert.
And there they come, Al. There's 2 of them.
What's that on the first one's back?
Why, I haven't seen one of those in 20 years.
What is it?
A one-man desert tank. They used to carry water that way before Adamson put out the air-still units.
There's something funny about that second one. Look, he's all spindly, and his head's funny.
He's funny, all right. Al, that's a Martian.
I never saw one off the reservation before.
Well, there hasn't been one, not in 10 years. I don't like this.
Here they come into the dooryard.
You remember what I told you. Line up the sights and just squeeze the trigger.
Hello! Hello there!
Now, Dad?
Hello!
Wait a minute. What do you want?
Water! I need water.
Who are you?
My name is John.
John, huh? What are you doing with that spider?
His name is Cantolcar.
I don't care what his name is. What's a human doing with a Martian?
I found him in the dry bed of Calmac Canal, nearly dead of thirst.
He probably ran off from the reservation.
When our brothers are caged, they seek freedom.
Brothers? Those spiders?
All living creatures are our brothers. On Mars, as on Earth.
Hey, wait a minute. Bert Ostrom at Force Wells told me there was a screwball heads preacher over there hollering about letting the spiders loose off the reservations.
Let no man call his own. No man, nor tribe, nor nation.
I guess that's you, all right. Bert told me they called you Crazy John. I don't suppose there's any harm in you. Fill your tank up at the air still. And you can even have supper with us.
We would be happy to.
We? What do you mean, we?
Cantolcar and myself.
That spider? Oh, no, I ain't having a Martian sit down and eat with me. You come on, though.
Thank you, sir. No. Where my brother is not welcome, I cannot go.
Well, suit yourself. Al, get the key to the water tower. Come out here.
All right, Dad.
And put away the guns. We won't have any trouble from these 2.
The old man filled his tank at the air-still tower, and the Martian went through the ash pile for half-burned fuel brick. When we went in the house for supper, I could see him silhouetted against the fire. The old man with his wild hair and beard, and the thin, spidery arms and legs of the Martian.
Dad?
What?
Are all the Martians on the reservation?
Yeah. All but a couple of wild ones in the mountains up north. The patrol catches a couple every year.
Why?
Well, they murder people.
No, I mean, why are they on the reservation?
Because it's the safest place to keep them at Pestisol.
How many are there?
Oh, I don't know. A few thousand. They keep dying off.
Why?
Well, they catch earth diseases. Chickenpox almost wiped out the whole gang of them 2 years ago.
Chickenpox? I had that. It didn't wipe me out.
You ain't a Martian.
I was born on Mars.
Well, I mean you ain't one of those spiders. Now eat your food, it'll get cold.
Okay. Dad?
Oh, what now?
Were the Martians always on the reservation?
Well, since the Outpost 3 massacre, they have been.
What was that?
Oh, back before you were born, they lived wild in the mountains up north.
Were they fierce?
Fierce enough. Only place for them spiders, behind wire.
Yeah, it sure is.
Out in the dooryard, the campfire flickered at the base of the water tower. The first of the Martian moons had set. The other wouldn't rise for several hours. I could hear the sandkeepers out in the desert as I stood there. The old man and the Martian were sitting on the ground, huddled close to the fire. It gets cold fast on the desert when the sun goes down.
Is that you, boy? You can come up to the fire if you like.
My dad wouldn't like it.
All right.
But I'm not afraid of no spider.
No, there is nothing to be afraid of.
How come his arms are all skinny?
Ask him.
Does he talk?
Yes, his name is Kantalka.
It is, huh? Hello.
Hello, boy.
He talks funny.
It is not my language.
Why isn't he on the reservation? You can get in trouble helping spiders to escape.
No man has the right to imprison the innocent. They that are enslaved will be freed. They that are in sickness and misery will be comforted. They that are exiled in a strange place will be restored.
My dad says the spiders are treacherous, cowardly, murdering savages. That's what he says.
Boy, there was a time on this world when there were no earthmen, when the ships and the machinery of earth were unknown. Then the people of the highlands lived in peace. But today they are a handful, starving, dying behind the wire.
But the reservation isn't so bad.
Our home is in the mountains of the north, not the desert.
I heard a voice which cried out to me in the desert, "Go to your brothers."
Do they really call you crazy, John?
I have been called many things.
You really think we ought to let those old spiders off the reservation?
Boy, we die here in the desert. We die in the sun and of the sicknesses you have brought from earth.
That's 'cause Martians are just weak. I'll bet I could knock you down myself.
You could. We are a different people. We have not the strength of muscle of earthmen. But we will not stay here to die.
You won't get off the reservation. The patrol takes care of all that. They won't let any stinking old spiders out.
Even in the minds of children is planted the poison of evil. How long?
That night through the window, I could see the flicker of the old man's campfire. He was walking up and down now, shouting, singing hymns, verse after verse, his white beard catching the light as he passed behind the fire. The Martian sat slumped over, his thin, spindly arms folded across the huge barrel chest that had developed over the centuries as the air of Mars thinned and escaped into space. In the morning, I looked out, and they were gone. Looking back now, we wonder how they did it. The high-voltage wire around the reservation carried a fatal charge. The patrolmen in the tower had 50 caliber machine guns. The desert around the camp was mined heavily. Yet, at dawn, August 7th, 1997, they broke out. I was down at the dried-up canal bed hunting sandpeepers when my father came running after me.
Al! Al!
Here I am.
Come on, back to the house.
What's the matter, Dad?
You shut up and run.
What is it?
The spiders busted loose. Bert Olstrom radioed in.
They coming here?
They're headed this way, the murdering devils.
They kill anybody?
6 patrolmen when they busted through the wire.
What are you going to do, Dad?
Fire a keg of Adamson A across the gate. You get in there and get the guns out.
I got the rifles and shoved a full clip in each one. Then I slipped a primer fuse on the homemade grenades and lugged them out to the porch. Dad was running lead wires back to a detonator from a half keg of Adamson A he'd set across the gate.
There. And that's it. Now give me one of those rifles.
Will they be here soon?
You can see the dust over the rise. Murdering spiders.
What'll they do?
I don't know. Now make sure you get a good sight, Al. Don't waste any bullets.
There they are, Dad. There they come.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up now. I want to get a good shot. Let him get closer.
Dad, that's Crazy John up in front. There. He's taller than the spiders. You can see his beard.
You're right. Oh, that renegade rat. He probably helped them break out of the reservation. Listen, Al. If anything happens to me, you ride out back to the shed. You can hide out in the empty ore bins till they go away. Now, you got that?
All right, Dad.
We're going to come in.
The spider's shouting something, Dad.
Probably a trick. Get down a little, Al. You're in the way.
They're coming
Got him clear now. Right in the head. Up a little now. Got him! Got him, Al.
Dad, look out! They've got guns!
Down! Get down! Oh!
Dad!
Get out, Al! Get out to the shed!
Dad, you're hit!
Go on! Those spiders are going to rush. Now get going!
No, I can't let you!
I want you to get out of here, you hear? Get out!
I ran back through the house to the shed. Behind me, I could hear the Martians sweeping up to the dooryard. Then suddenly the ground shook, and I could feel the dull concussion waves hit my ears as the Adamson A exploded. I could hear the high, whispered screams of the Martians and the rattle of fragments on the metal roof of the shed. I dived into the empty ore bin and slammed the hatch almost shut. I sat there waiting. And then suddenly a shadow fell across the edge of light, and the hatch slid open on top of me.
You leave me alone. I'll kill you.
Boy, I've been looking for you.
Where's my dad? What did you do to my dad?
He's dead.
You killed him. You and those spiders. I'll kill you. I'll kill all those stinking murdering spiders.
They are our brothers, boy. Your father shot without warning, and the fire was returned against my orders.
You mean you weren't going to attack us?
Our brothers came in peace. They are going home to their mountains. We came to get water for the journey.
You mean you just wanted water? You... Dad!
John, the Earth Patrol will be following us soon.
We must go.
And the boy?
We have to leave him here with water and supplies.
No. The Earth Patrol would question him. We need the time. He goes with us.
They tore the Adamson air still from the tower and mounted it on poles. They piled our supplies in the yard and loaded them on their backs. And then they started. I marched with the old man at the head, and the column stretched out behind us on the desert. I turned to look back at our house, but the sun was behind it, blinding red. The old man pulled me around as he marched, his eyes fixed on the horizon, where far to the north rose the cool mountains that were the ancient home of the Highlanders. 14 of the Martians died the first day. They dropped to the side of the column when they could go no farther, and died. But the march went on. On the 5th day, we swung wide to avoid a mining settlement, but not wide enough. The miners were in ambush behind a pile of rocks.
I shall lead them home. Home to the promised rest. Home to the mountains. March forward. March forward.
And the march went on. We wound across the desert in wild zigzags, following the paths the old man had traveled through the years. Only once a patrol plane hovered on the horizon and then shot away. The days went on, the weeks, and the Martians died. They died of exhaustion. They died of the diseases we had given. And they died of thirst. The Adamson still could produce 27 units of water an hour, no more. And on that, they died of thirst.
Here, boy, here's your water.
But that's more than the others got.
Take it.
It's yours. You're giving me your water.
It will be provided to me. He that brings justice to his brothers will drink deep of the water of righteousness. He that... Drink your water, boy.
Across the desert, from the Calmac Canal to Fever Dip, past the towering mesas of the Higgins Badlands, across the dry sea bottoms they marched. On the 54th day of the march, we halted at evening. The air was thinner, colder now. The rations had long since been exhausted. I lay down to sleep wrapped in the old man's coat. Early in the morning, before sunrise, I woke suddenly. The ground mist that had covered the desert the night before was lifting slowly. I saw the old man standing by the burned-out fire, the vapor swirling around his legs in the cold light of the false dawn, edging his wild beard.
Go back to sleep, boy.
I can't.
The end is near. I have led them through the wilderness, dry shod across the seas, and before us lie the mountains.
You mean we're almost there?
When the mist is taken from the eyes of man, the place of refuge can be seen.
You mean the mountains? It's over. We're there.
I have led them to their home, and I must go back to the desert.
You mean alone?
Even now, I hear a voice in the wind. Carry the message to the men of Earth. Bring to this new world the message of the old. All beings created in the universe are my brothers, and he that harms my brother harms me. Goodbye. Goodbye, boy. You'll be safe now.
Goodbye, John. Goodbye.
The Martians found him 500 yards from the camp, dead. Now the mist rose, and before us towered the highlands, the tall green mountains and the cool sky. The march was over. Of the 7,000 Martians who started, 900 were alive. They gathered now on the rise of ground and faced the hills. Their thin bodies wavered as they stood, and some dropped to the ground as they stood there. But there was a light of hope in their large, staring eyes. Most of them had died, but they had died on the way home. And now the march was over. Then the patrol planes were spotted on the horizon, and within 10 minutes they had landed. The Martians stood silently as the squads piled out and set up the 50 caliber machine guns and the petroleum gel flamethrower.
All right, you spiders. Hands up and stay together. Gather in a bunch and don't try anything. Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Shoot the first spider that moves. And shoot to kill. All right, where's that boy? There was a boy reported.
Here I am.
Are you all right, kid? They hurt you?
No, I'm all right. John gave me his water ration.
Oh, the leader, huh? Well, I've got a warrant for him. Where is he?
There. He's dead.
Huh? Oh. Well, just as well. I'd hate to be him in front of a settler's jury.
What are you going to do to them?
The spiders? See those transport planes coming in? We're going to ship them all back to the reservation where they belong.
You can't. You can't do that.
What are you talking about, kid?
You can't take them back. They're home. John said they were home. You can't take them back. It isn't fair. I won't let you.
No,
I won't let you. I won't let you.
Hey, let go of me. Let go. Sergeant!
Yes, sir.
Peel this crazy kid off me.
All right, now, kid, take it easy. I must be shocked. Can't believe he's safe.
Yeah, I guess that's it. All right, you spiders, step it up. Move along to those transport planes. It's all over now. You're headed right back to the reservation.
They separated them in groups of 50 and loaded them on the planes. 900 out of 7,000. And soon the first big-bellied ships waddled out on the hard sands and lifted slowly into the air, headed back to the south, flying over the trail of dead and dying who started on the march to the highlands, the march to home.
Don't worry about them spiders, kid. We'll take care of them. Come on now, kid. You'll feel better as soon as you get back to civilization.
I looked once more at the green mountains towering through the mist. And then, just before the motor raced, I saw John. Crazy John propped up against a dognut bush where the Martians had placed him. The wind from the south gave the wild hair and beard a rippling life. He faced the hills, the home and rest he had promised his brothers, as he led them through the wilderness of Mars.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
When the Johnson boat was towed to the Magic Island by the Euclidean submarine, it appeared that all hope for the Gregory party had vanished. However, Johnson was not on board the boat, having left it secretly on the high seas and boarded another boat returning to Los Angeles. The formula which Captain Bradford had sent to Johnson by homing pigeon has been taken by G47, and the Euclidean scientists immediately set about compounding this formula, thinking they have Captain Bradford's universal solvent. The formula is really something far different, however, and as we look into the laboratory, we see Jerry and Joan standing with G47, the woman submarine commander, and the submarine engineer.
Excellent work, Commander. You have brought them just in time. The work on the captain's formula is within seconds of completion.
I will take them to the confinement cells, if you wish it.
No. I want them here. Bradford is a very clever man. It is entirely possible that he may have planned a little surprise for us at the completion of the formula. It will be well to have two of his friends near me at that time.
What do you mean, G47?
If anything unpleasant were to happen, it might lessen the captain's enjoyment to know that you too, young fools, had received a portion of the treatment.
You are wanted at the table, G47.
Yes. Come with me, you two. Over here, quickly.
Is that the stuff there?
Precisely. It has reached the boiling point. The process should be complete any second.
I'm sleepy, Jerry.
Joan. Boy, it's a good thing we got out of there fast, Joan. I've forgotten to start to talk.
And I too, Jerry. A little of the gas got in my mouth, but I think I'm quite all right now.
Now, we're supposed to go and stir up all the rest of the Euclideans and try and get them to rush into that room to save G47 and the chemist. Then they'll get some of the gas, too.
We will not need to alarm anyone, Jerry. That gong has done it for us.
You mean that gong will bring the others here to rescue G47 and his scientists?
Yes, Jerry. The single stroke of the gong was for laboratory number 1. The 5 strokes for this level.
Boy, then we'd better get someplace else quick if we're going to get away at all.
I do not know where to go, Jerry. We will meet other Euclideans if we use the elevator shafts.
I got it, Joan. Back into that noisy room, quick.
You are right, Jerry. That is the best place. I think we will be safe in here, Jerry.
Well, we better stick close to this door. Now, don't get out in the middle of the room where our voices make that funny hollow sound. Somebody might hear it outside.
I think the sound could not leave the room, but it is best to be careful.
Hey, who's ringing that alarm gong?
No one. It is automatic. One of the scientists must have been able to set off the alarm before the gas overcame him. It will continue to ring at intervals until someone enters the laboratory and shuts it off.
Well, from what Tex said, there'll be a lot of them enter the room before anybody wakes up to shut anything off.
How long will that gas in the laboratory remain active, Jerry?
Well, I don't know for sure. Tex said he couldn't tell that without knowing how big the room was and how airtight and how much of the stuff they mixed up.
Then it might be safe for the others to go in there quite soon.
Yeah, but what of it? Those fellows in there will sleep for hours, Tex said.
The Euclideans have many wonderful antidotes and methods for reviving an unconscious person, Jerry. We may not have as much time as you planned on.
I know all that, but we can't make a move till we find out about these others who'll be rushing in there now.
Jerry, the gong.
I didn't hear anything.
That is the trouble, Jerry.
What's wrong now?
The gong has passed the regular interval when it should have rung automatically.
Then that means that somebody got safely into that room and shut off the alarm.
Yes, And that means we may have very little time to reach and warn the captain.
Not only that, but we've got to get out of here before we're caught. Or our only chance to get away with this thing is to be back on the yacht, looking plenty innocent when the other Euclideans come around asking questions.
Jerry, I have thought of a way.
Well, dish out the thought quick. I'm no mind reader.
Over there in the corner is an old elevator kept noisy for testing soundproof devices. It is never used. We can try that.
Get going then, and don't let any grass grow under your feet.
Grass grow under my feet? Jerry, I do not understand.
Skip it. Take out for that corner. Go ahead, run. Show me where it is. I'll follow. Hurry up.
It's this way, Jerry.
If they don't hear this, they're all dead.
It cannot be heard outside this room. Now we are out of the sound zone.
So I noticed. Now, where's the elevator?
I will move this lever. The door will open.
Boy, they sure didn't waste any soundproof paint on that.
Hurry inside, Jerry. Then we will go upward.
Okay, let's go.
This is not a good elevator, is it, Jerry?
Well, it goes up. That's all I want for any elevator right now. Hey, what are we going to do when we get off this thing?
What do you mean, Jerry?
Well, we'll be caught sure if we try to make it across the top of the island all the way to the yacht. Those guards in the control chamber on the surface won't leave their post to answer the alarm, will they?
Oh, no, Jerry. I had thought of that. We are not going to the surface. I know of a tunnel on the first level, just below the surface. We will use that.
And that will get us to the edge of the island without being seen?
Yes, Jerry. It will bring us out at Pier 5, within a few feet of my mother's yacht.
Oh, you're a peach of a girl, Joan. Oh, you're a honey.
I do not understand just what I am, but I like the way you call me those names.
Oh, you'll do, Joan. Hey, we stopped.
Yes, this is the first level. Now I will open the door. Get out, Jerry. This is the tunnel.
Boy, it's dark enough to be two tunnels. Now where?
Just a moment. I will set the lever inside the car for the fifth level again. Then when I close this door, the car will automatically return to the sound channel, and no one will know we have used the elevator.
We're getting better and better. Give it the gun. I got my flashlight. Is it safe to use it?
Yes, quite safe. We could not use the lighting system in this tunnel. The indicators in the control chambers would show that current was being withdrawn for use here.
Well, here goes the lights, then. Boy, this place is big enough to drive a truck through.
That is often done, Jerry. The electric carriers run through this passageway, carrying materials from ships to the interior of the island.
Okay, tell me about the wonders of the joint later. Just now, what direction is Pier 5?
Directly ahead, through the tunnel.
Come on, then. Let's go.
What can we do after we reach the yacht, Jerry?
No telling till we get there. But your mother and Captain Bradford will have some plan all worked out.
But even now the Euclideans, other than the chemists, are in the laboratory, trying to revive the chemists who were stricken by the gas, turning in alarms to all parts of the island, looking in every room and passageway for evidence that someone other than the Euclideans was there.
Well, we didn't leave any tracks, and nobody saw us coming out of the laboratory, so we're safe. And beside that, it was an accident anyhow. How could anyone prove the captain knew the foreigner would explode and make that sleep-producing gas?
The Euclideans have ways of doing many things, Jerry. Stop!
You didn't tell me any too soon. I just about bumped my head on that wall.
The passage turns here, Jerry, and circles the island, just at the base of the piers. But we go straight ahead.
Straight ahead? Through that wall?
The wall has a door in it. Watch. See?
Gee, another of those doors.
Yes, Jerry. Into the lock at once.
Another lock, huh?
Yes. Now I will shut the door behind us. Can you swim underwater, Jerry?
Sure. Can you?
Naturally. Now I will have to admit water to this lock. When it reaches your face, hold your breath. It will only be for a few seconds until the lock is full. The outer door will open automatically, and we will swim out. Ready?
Let her go.
Yes. Now, Jerry, when the door's open, swim straight out and up. My mother's boat should be directly in front of this door, and within a few feet of it.
I get the idea. The water's pretty near up to my shoulders now. You're shorter than I am, Joan. Hang on to my shoulders.
I will do that, Jerry. Brace yourself so the last rush of water does not knock you from your feet.
Ready here.
I am ready. Say no more until we reach the surface near the yacht.
Hey, Joan.
Quiet, Jerry.
We're right between the two boats, Johnson's and the yacht.
Yes, Jerry. Swim well in between them until we cannot be seen from the island. We should be able to grasp the line the boats are lashed together with.
Yeah, good girl, Joan. Let's go.
Look here, Jerry. There is a large hole in my mother's boat, just above the waterline.
Yeah, one in Johnson's, too. What does that mean?
Roll in here quick, kid, in Johnson's boat.
Captain Bradford.
Yeah, hurry up, Joan. You first. Crawl in that hole.
Yes. Come in quickly, Jerry.
Coming up.
Good work, kids. We heard the alarm going off at the 5th level, so we knew the formula had done its work.
Yeah. What's the idea of the holes in the boat, Tex?
Come up into Johnson's radio cabin quick, and I'll tell you.
I think we will not have much time, Captain, before the Euclideans will come here and ask questions.
I know that. Here, look up for that beam. Duck your head.
Gosh, this boat's a lot bigger than the yacht, isn't it?
Yes, nearly 40 feet longer. 20 foot on the beam. Plenty of storage space in the hold. Now wait until I look around before you kids come up here.
That is a good thought, Captain. It would excite suspicion if Jerry and I were seen returning to the boat, dripping wet as we are.
Yeah, all clear now. We'll just duck through this passage into the radio cabin.
Joan, my dear.
Oh, Mother.
I've been so worried about you.
We're okay, Mrs. Gregory.
Did the formula work as Tex anticipated?
Exactly, Mother. Every Euclidean chemist was put to sleep by the gas at once.
Have you raised him yet, Pat?
No, but I've been calling almost constantly. He should answer any moment now.
Who are you calling, Mrs. Gregory?
Johnson. But I'm calling our station at Wilmington. Johnson will know the message is for him if he hears it.
I think it is very dangerous, Mother. The guards in the control room will be sure to hear the message.
That's what we want them to do. They think Johnson's a prisoner here now. And if they hear us frantically calling for help, they won't blame that gas explosion in the laboratory on us. Keep trying it, Pat.
J24Y to Wilmington. J24Y to Wilmington. Patricia Gregory to Wilmington. Johnson arrived and captured. Captain Bradford's formula taken from Johnson and now in hand with Euclidean. Can you hear me, Wilmington? Patricia Gregory calling Wilmington.
When Jerry Hall went to Mrs. Patricia Gregory's home at midnight and begged her to take him on the Gregory yacht, which was sailing for the South Seas to search for Mrs. Gregory's long-lost little daughter, Joan, Jerry didn't even dream of the weird adventures the cruise would lead to. Now the Gregory yacht is tied up at one of the piers on Euclidia, the magic island, and lashed securely to it is Johnson's boat, also captured and held prisoner when Johnson sailed to the rescue of the Gregory party. Two things have happened, however, which give Mrs. Gregory and her party more reason for hope than the Euclideans know anything about. We hear them planning how to use these advantages as they talk excitedly in the radio cabin.
Before you say anything further about your plans, Captain Bradford, might I ask one question?
Go to it, Joan. The more mistakes we can find before we make them, the better off we'll be.
I merely wanted to ask if you were quite sure none of the Euclideans had been in this room since Jerry and I left to go to the laboratory.
I'm sure of that, aren't you, Tex?
I was just trying to think, Pat. Of course, we were in and out of here while we were working down the hold, but I'm reasonably sure no one else was in here. We didn't leave the cabin for any great length of time.
What do you want to know that for, Joan?
Because, Jerry, we are now going to discuss our plans for escape from this island, and we cannot do so unless we are absolutely certain of privacy while we are speaking.
Golly whiskers, Joan, you're right. And if any of those Euclideans were snooping around in here, they might have done something to the seaweed cloth so we wouldn't shield us from the sound and the light beams anymore.
Precisely.
Hey, what did I tell you about sounding like old G-47?
I am sorry, Jerry. I should have said exactly.
Now, your point is well taken, Joan, but I think we'll have to take the chance.
Is there any way we could tell if the cloth had been tampered with, Joan, dear?
No, Mother. It can be sprayed with a liquid which robs it of all opaque properties. Yet the change cannot be detected.
Well, I'd say we didn't have time to worry about it. We've only got a few minutes to figure this thing out.
Right, kid. I'm for taking a chance and going ahead with the plans. Because any minute now, one of those Euclideans is going to come running in here and ask what we know about my formula blowing up.
You two had better tell Tex and me exactly what happened. Then we can fit our plans into it.
Well, we started to get ourselves into trouble, so we'd be taking a G-47 in the laboratory. And we got taken there mighty fast and without getting into trouble.
We met the submarine commander. She took us to the sound channel, the only room on the island where one may always talk without being overheard.
Yeah, and that's the craziest room you ever saw. More funny noises and funny things without any sound.
Some other time, kid. Get on with the story.
I'm sorry. Well, that girl commander took us in this room just so we could talk to her without anybody hearing us. And we told her about the formula. Oh, how it filled the laboratory with gas and put everybody in the room to sleep the minute it was completed.
Oh, do you think it was wise to trust her that way?
I was in doubt at first, Mother, but her subsequent activities quite definitely substantiated Jerry's method of procedure.
That means everything came out okay.
I thought that might be it, kid. Go ahead.
Well, so we told this gal how we wanted to get into the laboratory to watch the experiment finished. How we had the cotton in our noses so the gas wouldn't put us to sleep, and that we wanted to get in there just before the blow-up so G-47 wouldn't have time to ask us questions or send us away someplace else.
The commander then left us in the sound channel while she went to learn of the progress of the experiment. Luckily, G-47 had learned of our presence on the lower levels, and he promptly sent the commander back to look for us.
You sure got a good break there.
This thing seemed to have gone almost too nicely for you.
Yeah. Then we tried to get the commander to put some of the cotton in her own nose, but she said no. Said it would look better when they woke up if she had really been put to sleep like the rest of them.
That girl deliberately allowed the gas to overcome her.
Yes, Mother. The commander said it would put her beyond suspicion and leave her in a position of being free to aid us at another time.
That's one of the most courageous things I've ever heard of. No matter what happens to us, we'll take care of that girl.
Gosh, that's swell of you, Captain. And it's mighty smart of her to figure that she could do us more good by going to sleep with the rest of them.
Jerry and I held our breaths a moment and made sure that everyone else was really asleep. Then we hurried out of the laboratory, and we were not seen or heard coming here.
Fine. Oh, but could it be possible that G-47 was watching you and noticed that you didn't react to the gas as the others did?
But we did. Joan and I both kind of choked a little bit, like the others did. Then we fell down on the floor and stayed real still for a second or two, till everybody in the room was quiet, like they were sound asleep. Then we jumped up and ducked out.
It looks cut and dried, Pat. I don't see where anything could possibly have gone wrong.
No, Tex, it seems perfect. Oh, if only these Euclideans really believe Johnson is here with us and don't find the hole we've cut between the boats, we should make our escape as soon as darkness covers the island.
I was going to ask you, what are the holes in the boats for?
Gee whiz.
Well, we haven't any choice.
We have nothing to lose. Our case is hopeless as it is.
You're right, Joan, dear. Nice work, Joan.
Come in. Oh, you.
Oh, my.
Oh, the skipper.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Well, what's up, Skipper?
Done.
What's done?
Tanks.
You got the oil tanks in Johnson's boat ready for the oil?
Yep.
Then we can begin transferring the oil at once, can't we?
No.
Why not?
Noise.
What noise, Skipper?
Pumps.
He's right, Pat. There isn't a sound anywhere on this island. If we start the pumps on this yacht to pump our oil over into Johnson's boat, they'll hear the pumps and come a-running to spoil our little plan.
Is it that you are going to transfer the oil from this boat to the other one and use the other boat for the escape?
Yes, dear. Johnson's boat is better for the purpose.
I get it. And we've got to have noise to cover up the working of the pumps before you can move the oil. Right, Skipper?
Right.
That's a problem. How can we make enough noise to cover those pumps without the noise being suspicious?
Yeah. Say, wait a minute. You've got a little portable power saw on board, Tex. I saw it.
Of course, Jerry, but
And that broken mast out there is hard to handle. The most natural thing to do with it is to cut it off clean near the bottom, then step the new end in the deck. Why can't we rig the saw up on deck and go to work on the mast? We can keep the saw running and cover the noise of the pumps.
Tex, will it work?
You bet it'll work. And we can keep our motors idling to run the generators for current for the saw motor. That'll be more noise to cover the pumps. Good boy, Jerry.
You are wonderful, Jerry.
Oh, you don't have to keep reminding me of it all the time. I won't forget that I am.
I feel sure that you won't, Jerry. But you certainly earned the bouquet this time. Oh, does that answer your question, Skipper?
Yep.
All right, Skipper. You wait until you hear our motors and the saw start. And pump fast.
Aye.
You can take Jerry with you now and set up the saw. Get the crew from Johnson's boat to help you.
Aye.
Now work fast, Jerry, and send McLeod in here to us now. If you talk to him out on the deck, don't forget to call him Johnson.
Aye, aye, sir.
Hurry up with that saw, boys. Let's fix up the mast so we can use our thing again there.
Right, sir.
Oh, Captain Bradford, it seems that things are going nicely for us after all.
It sure does, Joan. We get that radio working. I only hope they keep things up like this.
We didn't have time to tell you what we'd been doing while you and Jerry were gone, Joan, dear. But Tex has had the men working quietly, cutting holes in the sides of the two boats, just above the waterline.
Yes, I know. Jerry and I crawled aboard through one of the holes.
Yeah, and you're still dripping wet, Joan. Hadn't you better change your clothes?
Oh, but it is so nice and warm. I'm sure I will be comfortable.
No, dear, the captain's right. Better run along and put on one of my dresses. The tan sweater and skirt will fit you nicely.
I will do as you say, Mother dear, but really I do not like to miss any of the excitement. Oh, how do you do, Mr. Johnson?
And you, Miss Joan.
Nicely, thank you. Won't you go right into the cabin? Mother and the captain are expecting you.
Thank you. Come over and sit down, Mac.
You needn't look so frightened, Mac. The cloth covering this cabin will keep anyone from hearing us call you Mac.
Will it cover up my accent, too? I sound about as much like Johnson as a bullfrog does as a mockingbird.
That'll do all right in here, Mac. How are you getting along with the transfer?
Well, everything below deck is in the other boat now, except the oil. That's a problem.
A problem no longer, Mac. Jerry solved it. He's going to run the power saw and cut off the broken mast while the pumps work to cover the noise.
That's a clever laddie, that Jerry. You didn't lose a thing when he shanghaied himself aboard for this cruise.
Yeah, we know it, Mac. Jerry and Joan have done a lot we couldn't have done ourselves.
And the best part of it is that you two have enough sense to give him a chance to do something. There's many a smart young'un in this world that never gets a chance to show what they can do, for the old folks standing in their way.
You're right, Mac. But much as we'd like to talk about our clever juveniles, there's work to be done. Are you going to try and move anything out of the cabin, Six?
Not much. We'll take this radio and my instruments the last thing, in the dark, just before we shove off. I'm afraid you'll have to get along with very few clothes and luxuries, Pat.
You know how much that worries me, Tex. What else?
Well, I'm not so sure about the fuel supply. Remember, we've only a little oil here. And those diesels on the other boat burn it up fast.
About how far will we have to run from here to be safe?
That depends on how soon our going is discovered, I think, and how well organized the Euclideans are to stop it.
Yes, if we can get clear away before the scientists in that laboratory start waking up, we may be all right. But the most we can get 50 miles from here with that oil, then sail. And sail will be too slow if they really take out after us.
Well, all we can do is to make a try, Captain.
There goes the motors and saw. Duck back out there, Mac. Get down into your own engine room without being seen and start those pumps. Use the full flow. You ought to transfer all the oil in half an hour.
Half an hour will be ample time. I'll follow you.
Well, we'd better go out on deck and act interested in fixing that mast, Pat.
Suppose you go, Tex, and leave me here to use the radio. I'll keep sending as though I were trying to get help from the mainland. Johnson will be picking it up wherever that boat he's on is now, and he'll make something out of it.
Good idea, Pat. It'll make these Euclideans think we're desperate. They'll be intercepting the beam all the time.
I'll keep on trying to get help, Tex.
Good luck, dear.
Hey, Tex, come over here, will you?
Why, sure, son. Coming right up. What's the matter, Jerry?
Well, I'm not sure how you want this mast off. There's one of those Euclidean guards coming down the pier. What'll I do?
Just saw wood, kid. Just saw wood.
Things are better than others, but that we should never say that anything is wrong, that it has no value. That's not true. There are things that are wrong. Yes, some things are just plain wrong. No rightness about them. Atomic war is one of those things. If we get started on a real atomic war, see, ordinary war destroys men. Atomic war can destroy humanness by producing mutations that aren't human. But there's another thing that's wrong, too. And that's the wrongness of fooling yourself. Not merely others, but fooling yourself. And that's tonight's story.
And you say the annual budget of this institution is $8 million, Dr. Hawley?
That's right, Senator Bryan. $8 million a year for the care and feeding of
The freaks, Doctor?
Oh, we try never to think of them as freaks, Senator, and never to speak of them that way. Some of them have unusually sensitive hearing.
Yes, but they are...
Well, they're mutants, Senator. Genetic sports created by radioactive fallout. You might say they're martyrs to the criminal stupidity of the 20th century.
Well, is it compulsory for a mutant to live in an institution like this? I confess I'm not completely familiar with the legal aspect.
Compulsory? No, Senator. It's not compulsory. But it's often simpler for a mutant to live within these walls than out there in the world at large.
So I can understand that.
80% of them have come here voluntarily.
And the rest?
Committed by relatives who couldn't stand the sight of them. But Come, let me show you some of the patients, Senator. That's Anna over there. You'll notice I didn't bother knocking. Anna doesn't hear sound. When she wants privacy, she just bolts her door.
But what is she doing?
Thinking.
That's all? Just thinking?
Well, that's all she ever does, Senator. She's busy working on a new cosmological theory. Come, Senator. We're disturbing her concentration. Let's try another room. Now, there are many different types of mutations, of course, Senator. Hardly any two are alike. And some of our patients are simply physically deformed. You know, an extra limb, a strange texture of skin, differences like that. But others are more or less normal physically, but have unusual mental ability. And still others, like Anna here, well, they're both deformed and mentally unusual. Now, in this room, we have a pair of remarkable mutants.
Dr. Hawley, what's that coming up the hall toward us?
It's Merrick, one of our more interesting patients.
Let them wander around the hall?
This isn't a prison, Senator. Hello there, Merrick. Where are you heading?
I'm taking a little walk, Dr. Hawley.
This is Senator Bryan. He's paying us a visit here today. He's on the Senate Appropriations Committee.
How interesting. I'm leaving here, Dr. Hawley, right now.
Leaving? But you haven't been out of here in 10 years, Merrick.
I've decided to give the world another chance.
You know the rules, Merrick. If you volunteer to come in as a patient, you have to give 3 months' notice. Now, that way we can prepare you for life in the outside world.
I'm leaving right now, Doctor. 10 minutes after I'm gone, you will forget all about this. You remember there was once a Clyde Merrick here, but according to your records, he was discharged today, September 4th, 2019. You go directly to the recording computer and make the change. And as for you, Senator, whatever your name, you will have no recollection whatever of this conversation. And when you return to Washington, you will do your best to see that Dr. Hawley's appropriation is increased. Is all that clear? Good. Goodbye, Dr. Hawley. Thank you for everything.
Very well, Senator. Let's continue our little tour now. Suppose I let you see our recreational therapy wing now.
It's all right, Doctor. I don't feel very well. Could we sit down and rest for a while? The oddest sensation in my head. It's as if I fell asleep for a few minutes. I had a very strange dream. A young man talking to me.
Maybe a little fresh air. It's rather warm in here.
Yes. Fresh air would be good.
Straight through that corridor. It'll take you to the courtyard. I'll be with you in just a moment. I have to stop in at the office and make an entry on a patient's record. Something I've been meaning to do for a long time. I keep forgetting it. I'll be with you in a moment, Senator.
The danger you can't stop is the danger that by its very nature keeps you from seeing that it's there or knowing that you've met it. That's a hard one to stop. It camouflages itself so that you don't even know you encountered it.
Driving to town, miss?
Yes. Yes, I am, but I never pick up strangers when I'm driving alone. Why did I stop the car?
You will give me a lift.
Sure. Climb in. Over here next to me.
Thanks. I was sure you would change your mind.
This is an awfully lonely part of the country to be hitching a ride in. Where are you coming from?
You see that building up on the hill with the brick fence around it?
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
Some sort of government hospital, isn't it?
Close. It's a sanctuary for mutants. That's where I was coming from.
From the mutant sanctuary? But are you
a mutant? Do I look like one?
I don't know. You look...
How do I look? I look perfectly normal, don't I?
Yes, you look perfectly normal in every way.
Tell me how I look to you.
You're tall, blonde, blue-eyed, broad-shouldered, nice smile.
You'd say I was good-looking?
Yes. Yes, I'd say you were quite handsome.
Thank you. Well, what's your name?
Lisa Roberts. You?
My name is Clyde Merrick.
Oh, you must work at the sanctuary then.
Yes, that's right. I work there. This is my afternoon off, and I thought I'd hitch a ride into town for some fun.
Well, you're lucky I stopped for you. I'm going all the way into town. And you know, it's funny, too. I never usually stop for strangers. Tony says I shouldn't.
Well, who is Tony?
My fiancé.
You're going to get married, then?
That's what having a fiancé usually means. Yeah, we're getting married in December. Going for a long cruise on our honeymoon.
What do you do, Lisa?
Do? Oh, I'm a dancer. Maybe you've seen me on TV. I'm usually on every Saturday night. Not that anyone ever remembers the girl from the chorus.
I don't look at TV much, I'm afraid. Is this Tony of yours a dancer, too?
Yes, he's the leading man of the show.
You love him very much, don't you? You could never think of marrying anyone else.
You do talk strangely sometimes. I guess it's because you're around those crazy mutants all the time. Of course I love him very much. Well, what do you think?
How do you feel about mutants, Lisa?
Just the way everyone else does, I suppose.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, I feel sort of pity for them. But still, pity and all makes me feel creepy to think about people with two heads and all.
None of them have two heads, Lisa. That particular mutation doesn't survive to adulthood. Most of the really strange ones die off the first few weeks of life.
No, even so, I've seen pictures of them. Oof. It's a good thing they keep themselves cooped up in their sanctuaries. Good for them and good for us.
But sometimes they leave the sanctuaries. They try to live like normal people.
But they aren't normal people.
Sometimes they can convince others that they are normal. We can be very convincing, Lisa.
We?
I'm a mutant, Lisa. I'm casting a mental projection that hides my true appearance.
Oh, no. Leave me alone. Get out of the car.
Oh, slow down. I won't hurt you. I'm very friendly. I'm a lonely person, Lisa, and you're so beautiful. You're not afraid of me, are you?
I'm not afraid of you.
Of course you aren't. You like me. You like me very much. I'm tall and broad-shouldered, and you think I'm handsome.
Very handsome.
More handsome than your fiancé, Tony.
Of course.
You're wondering what you ever saw in Tony, aren't you? You're starting to forget you ever had any liking for him at all.
I can't imagine how I could ever let myself think I cared for him.
You're forgetting him rapidly. You don't even know who Tony is now, but you know who I am, don't you?
Yes. Yes, of course.
And you love me. You've only known me for a few minutes, but despite that, you've fallen deeply in love with me. Haven't you, Lisa?
Yes. I love you, Clyde.
And I love you, Lisa. Will you marry me, Lisa?
Of course, Clyde. Yes, I'll marry you, darling.
Of course, it isn't really Clyde Merrick's fault. He's not responsible for what he is. He was made that way by the genetic mutations. caused by too much atomic warfare. It isn't his fault. But that doesn't make him tolerable, does it? He is an intolerable menace.
Oh, that was a wonderful meal, darling. You know, I don't know how you did it. All those people waiting in line for tables, and the head waiter just took you right over to the spot.
I have ways of being persuasive.
Oh, I see. You love me?
Of course, Lisa.
We'll be married tomorrow and go far, far away. Rent a cabin somewhere and stay there for months and months and just read and fish and sleep. Oh, it sounds wonderful.
It is wonderful. Just the two of us.
I can't wait.
You're not worried about Tony, are you?
Tony? I don't know anyone named Tony, do I?
No, you don't know anyone named Tony. Come on, let's get out of here.
If you say so, darling. Where will we go?
Your car. We'll drive out into the country. You can't see the stars here in town.
You haven't paid the check.
It doesn't matter. You see them trying to stop me?
Well, no, but
I can eat for free anytime. You see? They're smiling goodbye to us.
Drive anywhere?
Take the road you were on this morning when you met me.
Of course.
Lisa.
What is it, dear?
Do you really love me? Really and truly love?
I love you, Clyde.
No. No, you don't. Not at all.
Oh, whatever do you mean?
It's no good. It isn't real. It's just another fraud.
I don't understand.
You don't love me. Not really. I've made you think you do, and you say you do, but that isn't enough. Every time I'd kiss you, every time I'd hold you in my arms, I'd know you were nothing but a puppet playing the role I made you play. Do you call that love?
Clyde, you're talking nonsense.
I wish I were. I thought I might be able to find some fulfillment outside the sanctuary, but I was wrong. What good is it all? I can fool everyone. Everyone except myself. Lisa, tell me again. How do I look to you?
Well, tall, very good-looking, blonde hair, kind of wavy, regular features.
In other words, as handsome as a video star. All right, stop the car.
Stop it? Why?
Because I want you to.
Well?
Ever since I left the sanctuary this morning, I've been projecting a false appearance. It's a power of mine. Something special I have, thanks to the otherwise unkind providence. I'm going to turn that projection off now, Lisa. Let you have a look at me as I really am. As I look without the benefit of hypnotic trickery.
Oh, no! Oh, no! Hideous. That face, those eyes, the skin.
Everything's all right now. You're starting to forget. In a moment, you'll have forgotten it. There. All better. How do you feel?
All right, Clyde.
Good. But you see, Lisa, I was wrong. I thought if I left the sanctuary at last, disguising myself as one of the normals, I could be happier. I could... But it would be a synthetic happiness. You can't live on nothing but cotton candy, Lisa. Start the car.
Yes, Clyde.
Drive up the hill to your left. And that's it, right up to those big gates. All right. Stop here. This is the sanctuary. I'm back home now. Home to stay where I belong.
Clyde, I'm all mixed up. I don't know what's happening.
You're going to turn your car around and drive home, Lisa. You're going to go home and go to bed And when you wake up in the morning, you'll have no recollection of today at all. You'll simply have lost a day. And you'll marry your Tony, and you'll be happy with him. Is that clear, Lisa?
Yes, Clyde.
All right now. You're beginning to forget me already. Say goodbye to me, Lisa.
Goodbye, Clyde.
That's right. No, don't kiss me. Back home again. Goodbye, Lisa.
The saving grace in Clyde Merrick was that while he could fool all those around him, he didn't fool himself.
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice. But before we join Superman, listen.
And now to our story. In the hope of finding 9 missing American engineers, Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet, and Lois Lane, star girl reporter, fly down to the Andes Mountains in a new super stratoplane. When the controls on Perry White's plane lock, Kent, as Superman, discovers an authentic Inca ceremonial flute jammed between the plane's elevator cables. This leads him to believe that the supposedly lost race of Inca Indians still exists. So, in an Army pursuit plane piloted by Lieutenant Elliott, Kent starts for the Andes only to discover a stowaway on board, none other than young Jimmy Olsen. Flying at 18,000 feet, the temperature in the plane drops, and Jimmy looks for a jacket in the storage compartment. Accidentally, he pulls the lever opening the emergency hatch. Elliott, the pilot, shouts a warning, but too late. Jimmy plunges through, hurtling toward the jagged peaks below. In a flash, Kent leaps for the opening as Superman. Jimmy's dropping like a plummet. I must catch him before he hits those rocks. Faster, faster. There. Got him. 10 feet from the ground. No, that was too close for comfort. Well, there goes Elliott heading back toward Santiago. He'll report both of us as dead. Maybe it's better that way. I'll have a free hand. Now, I think the best thing to do is head for Tupungato while Jimmy is unconscious. Good thing I studied those maps so carefully. The mountain is due south from here, about 1,000 miles away. Up! Up! And away! The mighty Andes Mountains flashing under him like the teeth of a huge dragon, Superman plunges through the night with the unconscious form of Jimmy in his arms, until he sights majestic Tupungato, the towering mountain into which the American engineers disappeared. Landing on the mountainside, he once again assumes the disguise of Clark Kent, just as Jimmy regains consciousness.
Take it easy, Jimmy. You're all right.
Where am I? What happened?
You're safe on Tupungato. We're in a sheltered cave.
What's that howling noise?
It's just the wind. We're 2 miles up on the mountainside.
How did we get here? I remember falling out of the plane. Gosh, am I still alive?
Well, of course you're alive.
I don't understand. I don't understand at all, Mr. Kent. We fell out of the plane. Pulled a handle and the floor opened up.
I know, Jimmy. You were pretty lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean?
Well, you got tangled up in the plane's undercarriage. I managed to get a parachute on, and I bailed out after you.
Where's the parachute?
Oh, it blew away after we landed.
Yes, but
What happened to the plane and Lieutenant Elliott?
Well, he couldn't possibly land, so I suppose he turned back.
Gosh, it all seems like a bad dream. Where did you say we were?
Tupangato, the mountain where those engineers vanished.
Say, Mr. White's plane ought to be somewhere around here. He and Lois were headed for Tupangato, weren't they?
Uh-huh. Now, Jimmy, if you're feeling all right, let's go out and hunt up some firewood. Looks like we'll have to spend the night here.
Oh, I'll hold the flashlight. Gee, lucky thing I brought it along.
Yeah. Come on.
Gee, what a place. I'll bet there haven't been people here for 1,000,000 years.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure of that. Hey, shine your light up this way, Jimmy.
Wait a minute. What's that, Mr. Kent?
What? Sounds like the shrieking of birds.
Birds? No bird ever sounded like that.
Those are giant condors, Jimmy. They're like hawks, only much bigger.
They're coming closer, Mr. Kent.
Down, Jimmy. Hey, quick. Crawl behind that rock. Those condors are big enough to pick you up and carry you. They have talons like knives.
What are you going to do? I can't see in the dark.
I'm hiding behind a rock, too. Now keep down and don't talk. Look at the size of those monsters. They must have a wingspread of 10 feet. Good thing it's pitch dark. Jimmy can't see me. I'll attack him as Superman. Here goes. There's the one I want, the leader. What a bloodthirsty devil he is. Got him. Now to quiet those ripping talons on the ringer's neck. There. That does it. Look at the others go. Now, down.
Kent, where are you? Behind us is dark.
Okay, then, Jimmy. You can turn the light on again.
Okay. What frightened them off, Mr. Kent? Gosh, you were pretty...
Jimmy, turn your light off, quick.
Oh, I see.
Never mind, do as I say.
Okay.
You hear that?
Men's voices. Who can it be?
We'll find out soon enough. They're coming this way. Keep low.
They're carrying torches. They'll see us, Mr. Kent. Look.
Inca warriors. I was right, Jimmy. Look at them. Look at those golden ornaments. Jimmy, we've solved one of the greatest riddles of history. We've found the vanished nation of the Incas.
Yeah. We'll never be alive to tell about it. What do we do, Mr. Kent? They'll see us in a few seconds.
I've got an idea. I'll hold out the wings of this giant condor that fell here and walk forward. You lie low behind that rock. Maybe I can frighten them off.
You think it'll work?
I don't know, but it's worth trying. Here goes. Now the wings are open. Plenty of room to hide behind. They see the bird, but they don't see Superman. They'll never know what hit them. Now.
Go!
All right, Jimmy. You can come on out.
Is it safe?
Yes.
Golly, Mr. Kent, what happened? Both out cold.
The bird confused them, and I landed 2 quick punches. Now, come on, let's get busy. We want these Inca costumes.
What for?
You and I are going to masquerade as a couple of Incas. Come on now, hurry up. There isn't any time to lose.
All right.
There we are. Don't forget the fuzzy moccasins, Jimmy.
No.
That's right. Hurry up, Jimmy. One of them's coming, too.
I'm hurrying. All right. I've got everything.
Good. Make sure you have all the gold ornaments. They're probably important. All right, come on, let's go. Shine your light on.
Then, hours later, as the brilliant sunrise dissolves the darkness of the mountains, Clark Kent and Jimmy are discovered kneeling outside a small cave near a ridge at the mountain base. Both are dressed in the rich and brilliant Inca costumes stripped from the 2 Indians the night before. Feathered capes fashioned of the plumage of rare tropical birds. Buckles and chains of pure gold, studded with precious rubies, emeralds, and moonstones. Industriously, they are pounding pieces of stone together.
How much longer do I have to keep this up, Mr. Kent?
Oh, you can stop. I think we have enough now.
What are we making? Wine?
Oh, hardly, Jim. The juice that comes out of these cacao roots is a natural brown dye.
Well, what do we want dye for?
Well, you remember the color of the Inca's skin?
Uh-huh. It's kind of a reddish brown. Oh, I get it. We're going to color our faces so we look like Indians.
Well, go to the head of the class, James. You're brilliant.
Stop kidding, Mr. Kent. Should I put some on now?
Yes, I guess so. There's enough in this little puddle here. Smear it all over evenly.
All right. Now, how's that?
That's it. That's right. All over your face and hands, too.
Uh-huh.
There. That's got it. Yeah, looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
How about that outfit? Does it fit you?
Well, it's a little big. I tucked up the pants and rolled up the bottom of the cape. Say, Mr. Kent, what are these big orange stones that are hanging from the gold chains around our necks?
I don't know, Jimmy. Probably some rare jewel the Incas prize very highly.
I'd like to bring it back with me. It's pretty all right.
Well, let's go. We smeared enough cacao root on you to last forever. Come on now, we're going to cross that ridge out there.
I'm ready. Say, these fuzzy shoes are better than sneakers. They're so quiet, too.
The Incas use them for fast climbing over rocks. Come on, Jim, over this boulder. Yeah, take it easy.
Gee, look at the top of that mountain. Doesn't it scare you?
Jimmy, this is no time to be admiring scenery.
What's that?
Probably an Inca chant. Come on. I want to look over this ridge.
I can't go much faster, Mr. Kent.
Here, take my hand.
Yeah, that's better.
All right, now just hold on. There we are.
Mr. Kent, look. Out on a big plateau.
Just what I expected.
Mr. White's plane, isn't it?
Correct. There's Lois, Mr. White, and Bronson.
You can see them from here?
Well, I see 3 figures. I wonder where that chanting comes from.
Mr. Kent, look. Down there.
Incas. Dozens of them. Crawling forward from all sides. Notice how those capes make them almost invisible? They're practically the same color as the rocks.
Mr. Kent, they're closing in on the plane. What can we do?
This is the acid test. We're going to see whether our disguises are any good. I'm going to try this ceremonial flute I brought with me from Washington.
Gosh, Mr. Kent, do we have to go down there? There's so many of them.
Well, if this flute and these costumes work the way I think they will, it won't make any difference how many of them there are.
Yes, but suppose they capture us.
Well, we'll have to take that chance. Come on.
Yes, now, Mr. Kent. Don't go too close.
Quiet, Jimmy. Can't show them we're afraid. Hold your head up. Look straight in front of you.
All right. My knees are shaking.
Come on. Keep walking.
Staring at us. Stop crawling. They don't look very friendly. Gosh, they've all got hatchets.
All right. This is far enough. Now to try the flute.
They're coming toward us, Mr. Kent. Come on, let's run.
Stand your ground, Jimmy. Don't move.
Golden hatchets gleaming in the sun, the dark-skinned Inca warriors close in on Kent and Jimmy. Will the disguise work? What effect has the flute had on them? Are they coming to do battle or offer friendship? Don't miss the next thrilling episode. Tune in and listen with Superman.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice. But before we join Superman, listen.
And now to our story. Despite a near casualty, Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen have arrived at Mount Tupungato in the Andes. Here, the 9 engineers who were surveying the possibility of building a trans-hemisphere highway between North and South America were reported to have disappeared. Kent believes the mountain is inhabited by the lost nation of the Incas, and his theory is proved correct when 2 Inca Indians attack them. In the ensuing fight, Kent overpowers the warriors and borrows their costumes for himself and Jimmy, hoping by the use of this disguise to discover where the missing engineers are being held. Dyeing their skins brown with the pulverized root of the cacao plant, Jimmy and Kent approach a group of 20 warriors who are closing in on Editor Perry White's stratoplane, obviously to attack White, Lois, and Bronson, the pilot. Believing the Inca ceremonial flute he has in his possession is a sign of leadership, Kent trills the instrument, hoping it will have some effect on the warriors. At the sound of the flute, the Incas stop dead in their tracks, turn and eye the newcomer suspiciously. Will the disguise work? Will Kent and Jimmy be accepted as Inca warriors? Jimmy is straining every muscle to look tall and impressive. Kent watches them closely.
Play the flute again, Mr. Kent. They stopped. It must mean something.
All right.
Mr. Kent, they're raising their golden hatchets. We better run for it.
Stand your ground, Jimmy. They're not going to throw the hatchets. They're just raising them. Must be a native salute. See, they put them down again.
Mr. Kent, please. They're looking right at me. They're suspicious.
Quiet, Jimmy. Don't move a muscle. We've got them fooled.
Doesn't sound to me like they're friendly.
They expect me to do something. All right, we've got to bluff our way through, Jimmy.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to lead them toward Mr. White's plane. It's the only way out. I'll play this flute again. Now follow me and stick close.
They're not moving. Maybe you better play some other song on that flute.
Just keep walking.
They're following now. Keep playing the flute, Mr. Kent. Keep it up. You're doing it.
Mistaking Clark Kent for one of their leaders, the Inca warriors follow him as he starts up the mountain in the direction of Perry White's plane. Meanwhile, on the plateau where the plane landed, Lois Lane hears the distant trilling of the flute.
Mr. White. Mr. White.
What is it, Lois?
Come here. Hurry.
Now, what's the matter? You seen a ghost or something?
Listen, it's that weird flute sound again.
Lois, will you stop acting like a baby?
I can't help it, Mr. White. I can't help it. It terrifies me. Mr. White. Look.
Look at what?
Down there at the base of the mountain. Those men.
You're right, Lois. They're climbing up. Oh, Bronson! Bronson! Coming! What is it, Mr. White? Well, look, down there. Holy smoke, savages. Dozens of them. I don't like this, Mr. White. No, neither do I. Let's take off. We can't. I got the carburetor disconnected. I was cleaning it. Good grief. Well, get in there and start putting it back. And for heaven's sake, hurry. I'll try to hold them off. Where's that Tommy gun? In the plane. Come on. You bet I will. Here it is. It's all loaded. You know how to work it? Of course. Now, guys, go on. Now, I'll fix that carburetor. Okay, but I don't know if there's time.
Look up. They're still coming. Mr. White, what'll they do to us?
Oh, how do I know? You better get into the plane.
Oh, no. I can fight if I have to. Give me a revolver.
No, Lois, I'm proud of you. Here, you stand right back.
I hope I can stop them, Jimmy. We're getting close to the plane.
Try holding up one hand and blowing on the flute.
That's a good idea. It worked. Now, I'll go on alone to warn Mr. White and Lois.
What should I do?
Stay right here. If they speak to you, just shake your head.
I have to stay with them alone?
Don't you worry. I'll be nearby. All right, here I go. Down, Jimmy. Was anyone hit?
No, it doesn't look like it. Signal to the Incas to get down, Mr. Kent.
Okay. That's Mr. White shooting. Oh, they're flat on their stomachs. All right, I'm going on alone. Now, keep low. Well, not bad for an old man. At least 10 of those bullets bounced off my chest. Mr. White! Lois!
Who are you? What do you want?
Peace, most noble Perry White. Peace.
You keep your hands up. Don't try any funny work. How do you know my name?
Sire, I have read the Daily Planet time and again. I know, for example, that this dazzling beauty is none other than Lois Lane, second best reporter on your worthy newspaper.
You've got your nerve.
Something fishy about all this, Lois.
What do you mean, second best reporter?
Is not one known as Clark Kent your best reporter?
If this guy's a native of the Andes Mountains, I'll eat my shirt.
Start eating, Mr. White. Underneath this phony coat of tan and all these fine feathers, you'll find your faithful employee, Clark Kent.
Kent? No, why, it can't be. Now, Kent, what in blazes is this? How did you get here?
I knew it. You just can't get rid of him. Way out here, 1,000,000 miles from nowhere, on top of the Andes Mountains.
Now, listen, both of you. This isn't any joke. I may be a phony Inca, but those 20 men back there aren't. Now, listen.
Kent, I might have killed you.
Yeah, I guess you need new glasses, Mr. White. Those bullets went way over my head.
Will you please explain how you got here and stop playing around?
Listen, Lois, I'm not playing around. Jimmy Olsen and I, well, we had to bail out of an army plane. The government sent me down here.
Jimmy Olsen?
Yes.
Was he here?
Back there with the tribe.
Who are those savages, Kent?
They're not savages. They're Inca Indians.
Well, what in heaven's name are you talking about?
Shh. Take my word for it, Mr. White. I can't explain now. All I can say is that the Inca civilization did not die as the world supposes. It's alive, very much alive. And the Indians live somewhere in or around Tupungato. They're responsible for the mysterious disappearance of those engineers.
Sounds like a mad dream, Kent. Are you sure?
Quite sure. Now listen. Those 20 warriors back there on the plateau have come to capture you. They think I'm some kind of leader. This ceremonial flute, I guess, makes me a leader.
So you're responsible for all this flute stuff. Clark Kent, you just wait. You've made a nervous wreck of me.
I'm not the only one with a flute like this. Apparently every leader has one.
Go on, Kent. What should we do?
All right. They think I'm a leader. So don't worry that they'll harm you. Now, the point is, will you let yourselves be captured so we can find those missing engineers?
The carburetor's fixed. Come on. Hey, who's that? Shoot him. Let him have shut up, Bronson. It's Clark Kent. Come here.
Yes, sir. Hello, Bronson.
Hello. Don't ask questions, Bronson. We've got to make our minds about something very fast. Now, Kent says there are 20 Inca Indians waiting to capture us. They think he's their leader, and he suggests we let them capture us, and we may find those missing engineers. Now, should we take off or do as Kent says? I don't know, Mr. White. How do we know where the engineers are?
Well, that's what we came for, isn't it, to find them?
Good girl, Lois. You still want your scoop, don't you, Mr. White?
Well, not at the price of our lives. How do we know what those savages will do to us?
I told you they're not savages, Mr. White. They're highly intelligent Incas. Even 400 years ago, they had a well-developed civilization. I don't believe they're savages or killers.
All right. You talked me into it, Kent. But I hope nothing goes wrong.
Now, believe me, Mr. White, this is the only way to locate those missing men. Find out whether they're dead or alive.
I'm sold. What do we do now?
Well, I'll go back and then...
Someone else has a flute.
Uh-oh. Must be their real leader. I hadn't figured on this.
Well, think fast. What are we going to do? You've got to get us out of this now. Here they come.
Mesu Tegi Wapelu. Magoye.
He's talking to you, Kent.
Yeah, how can I answer him?
Oh, do something.
How can it be that he who has presumed to lead my men cannot speak the Inca tongue?
I wasn't listening when you spoke.
Oh? Shall I tell that to my men?
Why not?
Very well. Obawe Taki Vidana.
What are they laughing at?
You have just committed a serious blunder. One that identifies you as an impostor.
What do you mean?
That orange jewel which hangs on the golden chain about your neck. You see, we all wear one.
Yes?
Each man in the Inca kingdom wears such a jewel. It is the most precious possession of our ancient civilization. It is very sensitive to the fluctuations of the heart. So sensitive, in fact, that when a man fails to speak the truth, the color of the jewel changes from orange to yellow. Do you know now why the man laughed?
Yes. Where are those 9 American engineers?
I have no knowledge of American engineers.
No? Then why has your jewel changed color?
That is enough. Savoir! I advise you not to struggle. You will be bound together in pairs. When our prisoners cry to Pangato, we do not like them to fall into ravines one at a time. You will have another pseudo-Inca warrior tied up with you. Baguabe! Fortunately, he was not quite tall enough to push.
Let go of me. Let go of me.
Don't struggle, Jimmy. Don't struggle.
You know what?
I never thought I'd be part of a tango.
And voila!
Take it easy, Lois. You'll be all right. We'll all be all right.
I hope so. You certainly got us into one fine mess.
Well, maybe Clark Kent has gotten our friends into a mess. One that may be difficult to get out of. But at least one thing has been proven, the existence of the Inca Indians. Now all that remains is to discover the fate of the 9 American engineers. Are they dead or alive? If alive, where in the vastness of the mountains are they being held prisoner? And can Kent, even as Superman, reach them? Be sure to be with us for the next revealing episode. Tune in and listen with Superman.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space, where Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Rocketing through space on a scientific mission to the outer edges of the solar system, Space Cadets Tom Corbett, Roger Manning, and Astro prepare the rocket cruiser Polaris for a landing on the planet Pluto. On the control deck, Major Connell, a hardened space pioneer and commander of the expedition, cracks out orders briskly.
Control deck to radar bridge. Check in. Radar bridge ahead. Get me a picture of Pluto on the magnascope, Manning, and feed it down here to me on the control deck scanner.
Yes, sir.
Well, Corbett, we should be hitting the upper layers of the residual atmosphere soon.
Estimated time of touchdown is 2 minutes, Major Connell. Closing in fast.
Have the schedule on it, sir. Pluto clear is dead ahead. And from the looks of it, I'm ready to go home right now. Nothing but ice.
Never mind the editorial comment, Manning. Feed it down here.
Right, sir.
Ah, there she is, coming in clear as crystal. Well, how do you like Pluto, Corbett?
Why, the whole planet is one big snowball.
Carbon dioxide snow. You see those ice mountains there to the left? Down near what you might call the equator?
Yes, sir.
Those peaks reach nearly 6,000 feet up from the surface of the planet. Millions of years of temperatures of 400 degrees below zero have frozen carbon dioxide gases right into those mountains. That's where we want to go.
We're almost over them now, sir.
Very well, Corbett. Attention, all stations. Stand by for touchdown. Control deck to power deck. Check in. Reduce escape velocity speed to 5.3, Astro.
Why 5.3, Major Connell?
Pluto has about 3/4 the gravity of Earth, Corbett. On Earth, we need a little more than 7 miles a second for escape speed, so we land tail first, using enough thrust on the rockets to ease down. Let me know when we're 50 feet above the ground.
We're closing in fast, sir. 100 feet to touchdown. 75. 50.
Power deck, zero velocity.
Zero velocity, aye, sir.
30 feet, Major. 20. 10. Touchdown! We're ready to go outside, Major Connell.
Good. Now you all know what we're looking for. A cave that can house 1,000 workers and equipment as a base for later detailed explorations. We'll go out in pairs. Corbett, you'll come with me.
Yes, sir.
Astro, you and Manning get one of the jet boats ready for use.
Yes, sir.
After preliminary examination of the terrain, we'll use jet boats for advanced search. Now, check your oxygen supplies. You should have enough for 8 hours. Under no circumstances are any of you to go out alone. Remember that. Now, put on your helmets and check your oxygen.
Cadet Astro, okay, sir. Cadet Corbett, okay, sir. Cadet Manning, okay, sir. All right. And be careful out there. One mistake, and it may be your last. Just remember, Pluto was named after the god of the dead.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Attention all spacemen. Attention all spacemen. Stand by for a high-priority message from Commander Arkwright, Space Academy Commandant. Pay close attention. This message will not be repeated.
The health and strength of you spacemen listening is of primary importance to the well-being of this planet. I cannot overestimate the duties and responsibilities you will have to assume in the years to come. That is why you must keep yourselves strong and healthy. That, in part, means selecting the right foods. Foods that really help you to build strength and health. And when it comes to breakfast, I personally recommend Kellogg's Pep. Pep is a 100% whole wheat cereal. A cereal that supplies vitamins and minerals and other food values Space Cadets need to keep up with their training. That's the kind of cereal you should have. If you want to match the cadets in their activities, eat the same cereal they do. Start your day the spaceman's way with a hearty, nourishing bowlful of Kellogg's Pep. In transmission.
Thank you, Commander Arkwright. And spacemen, Kellogg's Pep is a swell, tasting cereal, too. So ask Mom to get the cereal that combines good eating with 100% whole wheat. Ask your mother for Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Miles from the sun on the bleak carbon dioxide wastes of the planet Pluto, 4 Earthmen are in search of a cave that will eventually serve as a base for further exploration on the dead planet. While Space Cadets Astro and Manning prepare a jet boat for long-range search, Tom Corbett and Major Connell, exploring on foot, stand at the base of a solid mountain of ice over 6,000 feet high.
Jumping Jupiter, this is the biggest hunk of ice I've ever seen, Major. Frozen gases, Corbett, that's all it is. Must be 100 miles round at the base. You think we'll find a cave anywhere under that, sir? It's possible, but wouldn't the atomic heating units make this thing melt? If it did melt, it would turn into gas and form ice somewhere else. There are no liquids on Pluto. None at all? Maybe billions of years ago, but now nothing but frozen gas. Well, let's go back to the Polaris. Manning and Astro should have that jet boat ready by now. I want to take a look at this mountain from the other side.
Well, the jet boat's ready, Astro. Where's His Royal Highness Major Connell?
I ought to be back any second. Relax, Roger.
Boy, just looking at all that ice out there makes me cold.
Just keep talking, pal. Your space gas will warm you up.
Rock it off, will you? Look, I've got an idea. Let's give this jet boat a trial run and have a look around.
Oh, we'd better not, Roger. The Major said wait.
Okay, then you go out and sit on a hunk of ice because I'm going to do some sightseeing. Besides, the Major told us to get the boat ready, and how can we be sure it's okay unless we test it?
But the Major said we're to stick together.
Afraid to come along, Astro?
Afraid nothing.
Make up your mind, pal. I'm ready to blast off.
Well, all right. But make it a short hop, Roger. I'd rather take 400 degrees below zero from Pluto than 200 above from Major Connell.
Rocket cruiser Polaris to Polaris jet boat. Polaris to jet boat. Come in, Roger. Astro. Polaris to jet boat. Come in. No use, Corbett. They've been gone for over 2 hours. Something must have happened to them, otherwise they would vanish. I can't understand it, sir. I can. Manning and Astro have deliberately disobeyed my orders to stay here at the Polaris until we return. I've had enough of this smart alecky attitude. This is going to cost them exactly 99 demerits. But, sir, it only takes 100 demerits to wash out of the Academy. I know that, Corbett. But it will keep them from stepping out of line again. A foolish trick like this could jeopardize the entire expedition. Jet boat to Polaris. Jet boat to Polaris. Come in, Polaris. Well, it's about time. Polaris here, Roger. Are you all right, Manning?
Sure.
Manning, where are you?
I don't know exactly, sir. About 1,000 miles south of you at the end of a big ice mountain range. A stabilizer froze and we can't blast off.
The crashes of Luna, Manning. This is the last time you'll disobey an order. Where's Cadet Astro?
He's back in the cave, exploring, sir.
What cave?
I found a cave, sir, almost as big as the Grand Canyon. Goes in about a mile to the rock surface of the planet. That's what you wanted, isn't it, sir?
Yes, Manning, thanks, but it still doesn't clear you of disobeying orders. You set out a red flare marker and stay where you are until Corbett and I get there. And when I say stay there, I mean stay. You move 1 inch and you'll get demerit number 100.
Well, hotshot, the Major sure cooled you off in a hurry, and I don't mean by the climate.
Listen, P-Brain, if it wasn't for me finding that cave, you'd be stuck on this solar popsicle for months.
Look, if that head of yours gets any bigger, you'll bust right out of your space helmet.
Take a walk, ape-man.
I think I will. I prefer the company of that empty cave.
Yeah, do that. And while you're at it, get lost.
Roger.
Oh, brother, am I glad to see you, Tom. I thought for a while you weren't going to find us.
Don't worry, Cadet Manning. I would have found you, all right.
Yes, sir. I can imagine, sir.
Where's Cadet Astro?
He's inside the cave, sir. Over there.
Very well. Corbett, you stay here in the jet boat with Manning and see that he doesn't budge out of it.
Aye, aye, Major.
I'll find Astro and bring him back.
He's really fusing his tubes.
What made you take off like that, Roger? You're asking for trouble with an officer like Major Connell.
That's gratitude for you. I not only astrogate the guy 3 billion miles, but I find his little cave for him, too, and he blasts me for it.
That's not the point, Roger. You disobeyed an order.
If it wasn't for me, we'd just be starting to look for the cave. Now the job's all done.
Okay. No one's taking the credit away from you. But you've got to understand...
Knock it off, Junior. We just don't talk the same language.
Maybe not, but I hope the disciplinary board at the academy talks yours when you're brought up on charge. Hey, there's the intercom signal.
Probably Major Connell or Astro reporting on their belt communicators.
Jet boat. Cadet Corbett, go ahead.
Corbett, this is Major Connell. Has Cadet Astro returned yet?
Why, no, sir. Haven't you found him?
No, the only trace of him is his belt communicator. I found it on the floor of a cave about 100 yards in.
How could he lose his communicator?
I don't know. This looks like trouble. You and Manning join me here and bring along an emergency kit.
Very well, sir. Be right there. With the 3 of us searching, we ought to find him in no time.
I wouldn't be too sure of that. From what I've seen, this cave is so big you could put Space Academy in one corner and never see it. So you can imagine what would happen to a mere man.
There's a narrow ledge leading down to the bottom of the cave, boys. If Astro went down, he had to go this way.
Lead the way, sir. We're right behind you.
You can see the whole cave from here. Jumping Jupiter, I never dreamed it was this big.
Why, it must be 20 miles across and a mile deep from top to bottom.
And the floor is rock, not ice. And look at the way the walls shimmer with light.
Like they were studded with 1 million tiny light beams.
Yes. In our wildest dreams, we didn't hope for this. But its size makes it that much more difficult to find Astro.
I'll say 400 square miles to cover. To find one guy 6 feet tall.
All right, boys. We're on the floor of the cave. From this point, we have to separate. Corbett?
Yes, sir.
You take a red flare and go to the left. Manning? Yes, sir. Take a yellow flare and go to the right. I'll take a blue one and cut across the middle of the cave. Now take your time and keep your eyes open. If you find any trace of Astro, ignite your flare. Any questions?
No questions, sir.
All clear, sir. One thing more. Return to this point in 3.5 hours.
Why the time limit, sir? Aren't we going to keep looking until we find Astro?
If we don't find him in 3.5 hours, Manning, there'll be no rush. Astro's oxygen will be gone, and he won't know the difference.
Blasted, if anything happens to that balloon...
Wait a minute, Manning. Now you know what can happen when you disobey an order. All right. Come out.
No luck, huh, Major?
No, not a thing, Corbett. How about you?
Same here, sir. No footprints, not a sign of him.
Where's Manning?
Well, I guess he's still looking, sir. I just can't understand it. Astro wouldn't wander off like that.
I know, Corbett. It's almost as if he dropped right off this ice-packed planet.
You think he might have fallen in one of the ice crevices in a way that we couldn't see him?
It's possible, Corbett. But I don't...
Major, look.
What?
A flare. It's Roger. He must have found Astro. Come on.
Take it easy, boys. Easy. Hold him up. Slowly. That's it. Tie the rope to that big rock, Roger. I've got Astro by the shoulders. Okay. Hang on to him. Get him over the edge. There. Thanks, Major.
There. He's safe now.
Manning, get an emergency oxygen flask hooked up to his space helmet. Hurry.
Yes, sir. His face is almost blue with cold. I guess being wedged in that crevice for 4 hours cut off the heating units in his spacesuit.
No, Corbett, he's not suffering from cold. That's suffocation. That's what happens when you can't breathe.
I'll give him some more oxygen, Roger. I think he's beginning to open his eyes.
Right. Come on, Astro, old boy. Breathe deep. He's getting it now. There. He's starting to breathe deeply.
Hey. What's going on?
Take it easy. Breathe evenly. and slowly. That's it. Oh, boy. Does that oxygen feel good? Corbett, you and Manning go back to the jet boat and fly it in here. We've got to get Astro out of this icebox. Okay, sir.
Yeah, we'll get this Venusian lummox back where it can be warmed up.
Just a little of your hot air will do, Roger.
Sounds to me like you're better already. Well, don't just stand there, boys. Blast off. Get that jet boat ready.
Roger, this ought to teach you a lesson about obeying orders.
Oh, don't say a word, Tom. I feel smaller than a Martian mouse.
Yeah? I've heard you say that before.
Well, this time I mean it.
Now, here's the cave entrance. Let's get that jet boat ready.
Yeah, brother, it's good to see open space again. Hey, Tom, what's that noise?
I don't know.
Jumping Jupiter, the whole mountain's starting to shake.
Roger, it's an avalanche. Tons of ice coming down on top of us.
Come on, let's get back in the cave.
No time now. Head straight out and run for your life.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, have you started your collection of magic eyes yet? Well, let me tell you all about it because you won't want to miss out on this. The magic eye is a brightly colored plastic disc set with a picture in the middle. And when you hold it in your hands and tip it back and forth, the picture goes into action, doing things you wouldn't believe possible. There's one magic eye with a picture of Bob Hope holding a baseball bat. When you tip the magic eye up and down, Bob Hope starts swinging that bat just like a real baseball slugger. When you move another magic eye, you'll see a jet plane streaming through the clouds. And altogether, there are 16 different pictures you can collect in the Magic Eye series. Each magic eye is easy to get, too. All you have to do is get a package of that swell-tasting Kellogg's Pep. Open it up, and right inside you'll see a magic eye that's all yours. That's the best part. There's a magic eye free at no extra cost in every package of Kellogg's Pep. Get your Magic Eye collection started now. Ask Mom to buy the build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Finding Astro alive but wedged in an ice crevice inside the huge cave on Pluto, Tom and Roger helped Major Connell release him, and then left the cave to get the jet boat to carry their friend back to the Polaris. However, just as they stepped out of the mouth of the cave, an avalanche thundered down on them. Hundreds of tons of snow and ice threatening burial and instant death.
Come on, Roger. Run! Run!
I can't make it, Tom. I'm through.
Hit that jerk quick. Here it comes! Roger!
What? Tom?
All right.
I guess so, but I don't see how we can...
Take your spacesuit. Make sure it isn't torn.
No, everything's okay. Jumping Jupiter. Look, Tom, the mouth of the cave. It's buried.
Oh, no. And Astro and Major Connell are trapped inside. Come on, Roger. Keep digging. We've got to get through this ice.
Tom, I can't. I can't lift the axe anymore.
All right. Take a breather.
If there was only some way we could find out if Astro and the Major are okay.
The only way is to cut through.
It's impossible, Tom. We've been at it for 2 hours and haven't even made a dent in it.
Say, maybe there's some way we could melt this stuff.
I don't see how, Tom. We haven't got any kind of heat available, and if we did, we couldn't sustain it long enough to cut all the way through.
The Polaris could.
The Polaris?
Suppose we bring the ship here and turn her stern exhaust on that pile of ice.
Hey, it might work, Tom. It's about the only thing we can do. If we don't get inside that cave soon, Astro and the Major are done for.
Hello, Roger.
We're getting pretty close to the cave. Stand by rocket controls.
Okay, Tom. Power deck ready.
I'll bring the Polaris right over the pile of ice and reduce velocity thrust until Pluto's gravity pull and the thrust of the rockets are equal.
Sounds good to me, Tom.
Right. We're closing in now. Fire rockets just enough to make us hover, Roger.
Power coming up.
Nice going. We're holding right over the ice. Our exhaust blast ought to make it evaporate soon.
How's it doing, Tom?
We have to get closer. Reduce your thrust just a notch.
How's that?
Right on the nose, Roger.
Is it really melting the stuff?
It just disappears. Another minute and we should be through.
Great. Old man Pluto's getting the first hot foot in umpty billion years.
Honestly, boys, when I saw that rocket exhaust flame burning through that pile of ice, I didn't know whether to be happy or scared.
Yeah, it reminded me of the ancient dragons in fairy tales.
It was a nice job, boys. You were just in time. Our oxygen was just about gone.
Well, thank heavens it only took a couple of minutes for the heat from the exhaust to get rid of the ice.
At first I thought it was Manning shooting off his mouth.
Major, will the cave fit the needs of the expedition?
Oh, completely, Corbett. And as soon as I send a report back to Space Academy, a fleet of space freighters will leave with equipment and supplies to establish the base.
Say, Skipper.
Yes?
Isn't it the usual thing to name a new discovery after the discoverer?
Why, yes, it is, Manning. The name will be recorded with the Solar Council.
Well, what do you know? A new base named after me. Just think, Astro. Now you can tell your grandchildren you knew the first great explorer of Pluto, the hero who established Manning Colony.
Correction, Manning. The Polaris Colony.
I'll sure tell my grandchildren about that.
Cheer up, Roger. We'll name the garbage dump after you.
Go blow your jets.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, when Astro is suddenly threatened by a spaceman's most dreaded disease and undergoes a dangerous trial in space. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, and Barry Kroger. Today's program was written by Richard Jessup, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. And what a secret. In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. On a remote island in the war-torn Pacific, a paradise of tropic splendor, where sounds of battle are far behind. While walking slowly toward you,
her arms stretched out to you, is the most beautiful girl in the world, whose embrace could mean your death. Listen now as Escape brings you Millard Kaufman's exciting story, The Island.
The problem was, what could I do with Robert Lacey? Do you happen to have a dream book handy? With all the charts and categories precisely arranged in alphabetical order? Well, in it you'll find a dream for loneliness about girls in soft summery dresses. You'll find a dream for hunger, 2-pound steak, perhaps smothered all over with lamb chops. Or dreams for the traveler of a hometown far away and long ago. But find me a dream of a place you've never seen. A place that doesn't exist. Awake or asleep, that was Lacey's dream. Corporal Robert Lacey, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines. Harmless enough dream, I guess, and not to be taken seriously, or so it seemed until that night when Lacey's dream became my problem. May it was, 1945, in a little wood on Okinawa. Anyhow.
Yeah, a couple of 3 miles behind Jap lines.
Oh, fine.
You worry too much, pal. Even for a guy on his first patrol.
Well, I've been thinking of it as my last.
Relax like me and you'll live forever.
What was that?
Nothing. Just a screaming Mimi. Got a kind of a tail adjustment that cuts the wind, sort of screams. Jap uses it to scare us.
Well, they sure succeeded.
You scare easy, pal.
Sure, I'm a pushover for that Schrecklichkeit stuff.
Schrecklichkeit?
Yeah.
What kind of jive is that?
Well, it means terror, frightfulness. It's German. Germans got a whole arsenal of terror weapons.
Japs have got a few themselves. What do you say we sack in, huh?
Sack in here?
That's as good as the next place.
What a lash up. It's 3 miles behind Jap lines.
Got no chance of getting back tonight. Get knocked off if we try. You take the first watch. I'm going to sack in.
You going to sleep?
I don't know. Maybe I'll just sit here and dream a while.
You're sure picking a fine time for it.
Hey, did I ever tell you about my island?
Yeah, you told me. You must have told me 50 or 60 times in the past month.
All right, so I'll tell you again. Now, this island, it's a sort of a special place, you see. There's no rain, no jungle rot, no war. Just a quiet, cozy spot where a man can lay down under a banyan tree and live off the fat of the land.
Oh, there is no such place.
And on this island, a man would never go hungry. All you got to do is fish a little with the natives. And they're all big men, and they're friendly. Not like a Nips. And all the dames are beautiful.
You know something, Lacey? You read
That's where I'm fixing to go as soon as I can find it. I'm never going back stateside. I'm going to lay down under that little old banyan tree, and I'm going to rest.
I let him rave on. What else could I do? Argue with him? There I was, 3 miles deep in enemy lines with a stranger, his eyes narrowed in a 1,000-yard stare. Rush of words like a nervous twitch. He raved on about a place that doesn't exist with
It's an island.
big men and beautiful women.
Different. Like nothing you ever saw, all surrounded by mist.
And then I found myself listening,
It's people.
sort of hypnotized.
Well, they're different.
And I learned something about Corporal Lacey and what combat weariness means. He'd foraged too long among the rotten, bomb-scarred pebbles of the Pacific. He'd seen too much death, too many crack-ups.
Hell, I won't never go back.
He was himself, half-cracked and slightly dead, barely held together by the taut and twisted wires of his dream. So what could I do? Argue with him?
There'll be cattle on the island, too. I'm going to find me a beautiful girl. Tabori.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Look, Tabori, out there coming toward us.
Where?
Over there. About 2 o'clock.
It's a whole bunch of them.
No. It's not a bunch. It's 4. 3 men and a woman.
They're heading right for us.
Oh, put that rifle down.
What's the matter? You flip or something?
They're not chaps. The men are too big. What? It's funny, the woman with them, though.
Maybe his eyes were better than mine, but how could I trust that brain of his all festered with dreaming?
I tell you, they're not chaps. And the dame is beautiful.
If only I'd listened to Lacey then. If only I'd known. But Japs or no Japs, I was taking no chances. I raised my rifle and...
You hit the woman. I'm going to see if she's hurt bad. Come on.
Lacey, don't go. You know the Japs. It might be a trick.
Don't worry about me. Let go, my arm.
Listen, you get yourself killed.
Not me, Tabori. I'll live to spit in your grave. Now, let go of me.
All right. I just hope you know what you're doing. I don't want to get involved in any of your cockamamie dreams, you know.
Dreams? It's no dream, Tabori. You'll find out.
Okay, Lacey, so where is she?
That's funny. She must be around here somewhere. Maybe.
Wait a minute. What's that?
It came from over there. Come on. Ah, there she is.
She's scared us.
Lady? It's all right, lady.
Go away.
Oh, now, we won't hurt you, lady.
I heard you. I heard you.
Watch her, lady. Ah, she's bluffing. Break out your first aid kit.
Yeah.
Look, lady. Let me fix your arm, huh? You see, we got bandages, adhesive tape, penicillin.
She don't get what you're talking about.
She gets the idea, all right? That's right, lady. This won't hurt a bit. Hey, you just got nicked a little, that's all. Just a flesh wound.
Oh, she trusts you.
Yeah, she trusts me more than you do. Didn't I tell you she was beautiful?
Well, you told me a lot of things. How about the men she was with, the big men?
Well, she was with them, and they weren't Japs.
Not Japs.
In a pig's eye, not Jap.
No, they're not Japs.
There, you see?
Well, then what were they?
How you say, my people.
Well, who are you? What are you? What's your name?
Name Taki. I'm... no can't see in English, but please go away. Please, you go away fast.
Now, you scared her again. Look, Taki, it's all right. Everything's going to be all right. Hey, you just come with us, huh?
No, I go home. Let's go home.
So go home. Scram, lady. Lose yourself.
Oh, no, you don't. Whoa, Lacey. You keep on.
Let her go. Let her go back to her rice paddy, will you?
You still don't catch, Tabori. She ain't from Okinawa. She's from that island I was telling you about.
I'm from Yogashi. Yogashi Shima.
Shima, see? Shima means island.
Yes. Island.
All right. Then what are you doing here?
I do not know. The Japanese bring us in canoe.
She's crazier than you are. Who are those?
Shut up. Taki, where is your island, huh? Where is Yogachi?
In east. In China Sea.
Yeah.
A half day from Okinawa. By canoe.
Canoe.
What's it like, Taki, huh? What's your island like?
Listen. Never mind the island. Let's find that canoe. Come on, don't you see? With a canoe, we can get back to our lands by water.
Yeah, I think you got something there.
Taki, can you find the canoe?
I think I got it.
Come on, let's go. She led us on through the wood. A lopsided moon came up and its rays filtered through the clouds and down through the jagged trees. In the moonlight, she was like one of those porcelain figurines, delicate with a peculiar tint to her skin, unlike anything I'd ever seen before. was like the shade of waxed ivory, ancient ivory. Her hair was long and black, drawn tight over her head. She was straight and slim. She walked with dignity. She was beautiful as a dream, Lacey's dream. But dreams don't come true, not like this, yet here she was, just the way he described it. And the three men, and the island. I couldn't figure it out because just then I didn't have time. Lacey, listen to that.
Yeah. Come on.
Tucky led us down a slope to the water. There were canoes. And leaning against the prow were two sentries. Well, they were safe, they thought, 3 miles behind their line, snug as 2 bugs in a mosquito net. They were so safe they didn't know what hit them.
Tucky, in the canoe. All right, push off the boy. You take the bow. Sit down, son. Well, so, straight up in the channel. You know what I think? Huh? I think we're going to make it. Okay, Tabori. We can take it easy now. I'm not taking it easy till we cross our perimeter. How you going to tell at night? Oh, but and you think I got neon signs, huh?
Well, maybe we'll see a landmark or something.
Distances can fool you at night. We're liable to paddle right into a platoon of nips.
Okay, what do we do, Lacey?
We'll stand by till morning. Then head for our convoy. We'll ride ashore in style. LST.
I don't know. I think it'll be better if we...
Look, whatever you think, you're outvoted. You're outvoted 2 stripes to 1.
Oh, you're pulling rank, Corporal?
Well, why not, knucklehead? This ship's got 1 skipper and I'm it.
Oh, you're like a...
Now, look, if I want any step out of you, I'll knock it on you. Now more than you don't pile up this detail.
So what was I going to do? Argue with you? Start a private firefight in the middle of the China Sea? I was getting a little combat weary myself, but Lacey, he was all charged up as though his crazy dream had come true. Lying on the narrow deck of the canoe, I could hear Lacey, and the more I heard, the more confused I got.
It's not like other islands, is it, Taki?
It's different, Yogashi. I wish I could tell you how.
I know it. It's pretty, huh?
It's very pretty, but...
Is the fishing good?
It's good. And we have pigs.
Cows?
Good cows.
I knew it.
Cows and pigs. And Lacey getting all hopped up about them. Well, that was the last thing I remembered. I guess I fell asleep, and then... suddenly it was daylight on it.
Tabori! Hey, look, Tabori!
What?
Look over there. What do you see, huh?
An island? Just an island?
It's not just an island. That's my island.
Well, what's so special about it?
Well, look at it. It's surrounded by mist, just like I said.
Oh, tell it to the troops when we get back to Okinawa.
Look, Tabori, stand by for a ram. We ain't going back to Okinawa.
Hey, now, wait.
I don't want any more trouble from you, Tabori.
Well, then don't make any, or I'll... Hey, look.
Looking for your rifle? Well, don't bother, because I got it right here.
What?
Now, you get forward.
You're crazy.
Go on, move, Tabori. You're flirting with a Purple Heart. All right, now lean on that paddle. That's right. We're heading for Yagachi.
beach at Yagachi about 4 hours later. It was a lovely island with terraced hills and patches of tilled soil checkering the greenery.
See it and believe it, that's a boy.
I wouldn't believe it. So close to Okinawa.
Where are your people, Taki?
We over here. But you must not come. You go back now.
Oh, no, I'm sticking around. How about you, the boy?
I came this far. I'll sweat it out just for laughs.
You're going to laugh out of the wrong side of your face.
What do you mean?
Well, that's just a figure of speech, Taki. Let's go. So there I was, caught up in Lacey's dream, when all the time I should have taken off at high pull-up for Okinawa. I should have known better, but I didn't, and what you don't know can hurt you. Plenty.
Hey, look at that cow, boy.
I could eat her down the hole.
I tell you, I'm going to live off the fat of the land.
The trail snaked upward. There were scarlet flowers and lilies in the swordgrass. All very nice, I suppose, but I was looking for people, the big men of Lacey's dream, the girls all as lovely as the girl beside us. I was tense with expectancy at each bend in the trail, but Lacey's tensions had all vanished. He lost them because he had found Taki.
Robert Lacey.
No, Taki. My name's Lacey. Now try it once more.
Lacey.
No. Lacey, Taki. L, like in, this is a lily. You are a lady.
And you're a loco.
Boy, I'm going to slug you.
You're so funny, Lacey, when you're mad.
You laugh nice, Taki.
It is the first time in 5 years. It is first time I am happy.
Maybe you were waiting for me to make you happy, like I was waiting for you.
What do you mean, Lacey?
Well, I mean it. Well, here. This is for you.
Why you give me flower?
I love you, Taki.
No. No, you cannot.
Why, Taki?
You don't know. I don't know how to say. You do not know me.
Oh, I know you. I've been dreaming about you for 2 years. I knew I'd find you.
I never forget what you say.
I'll never let you forget.
Oh, Lacey.
Lacey, honey. L, like in love.
They walked on together up the trail. A tall Marine and a slim girl with the ivory skin with a flower in her hand. Now and then she'd look at the flower, and then she'd look at Lacey, and a pained expression would cloud her face, as though she didn't understand. I didn't either, but I had to find out.
You know, it'd be easier for you if you give me back my rifle. Don't worry about me. I'll get by.
Well, we got it low close this summer.
I'm going on Yagachi. See? Down there, fighting me and Daddy.
Hey, look. Look at them.
They, my people.
I told you they were big men.
How can you tell from this distance?
Well, look how broad they are.
It's funny how they're all in a bunch like... Hey, listen.
Well, maybe it's what you call a ceremony or something, huh?
It is.
Well, maybe it's for us. I bet they know we're coming.
No. It is for the dead.
What happened, you suppose? A war?
The war not here. It's just my people die.
Well, everybody's people die. It's just gotta happen later.
Never heard it so well put.
Why don't you drop dead, Tabori? Let's go, Taki.
Down the mountainside, down to a cape that jutted into the Pacific like a gnarled finger of doom. Oh, we saw a village. We headed toward it through a sunless gorge. At the far end was a thatched hut.
Looks like it's empty.
As any fool could see.
You wait here. I come back soon with headman. He speak English good.
The boy?
Huh?
You gonna stay here with me?
No, I see. I just want one good look at your big men and beautiful women in their native habitat. And I'm off for Okinawa.
You still won't prove,
yeah? And there's something strange about this place. I want to know what it is.
It's not strange. It's just different, like I said.
You're all fouled up, Lacey, in a dream. I'm not sure what it's all about, but I gotta find out or it'll drive me crazy the rest of my life.
You mean crazy like me?
I didn't say that.
You know, since we left Okinawa, you've been giving me a bad time.
Well, that's mutual.
Now you just call me crazy.
I know what I said.
I know what you think. I know what you'll do once you get back to Okinawa. You'll tell the MPs I went over the hill and you'll tell them where I am. They'll come after me.
You are crazy.
I'm just crazy enough to make sure you keep your trap shut. You remember, Tabori, I said I'd be around to spit in your grave?
Lacey, stop kidding around with that rifle.
I ain't kidding. I'm gonna kill you, Tabori. But first, you're gonna see I was right. I want to see the expression on that smart aleck face of yours when you admit it. And then I'm gonna kill you. Now get back in that corner. Keep your mouth shut. Hello. You the head man? I suppose you could call me that.
His name, Hiroshi.
What can I do for you? I want to stay here with Taki. I'm afraid you cannot. Well, I'll work my way. That is not the point. Look, I don't want no arguments out of you. You cannot stay. Well, why? She is a leper. But she's so beautiful. Yes, I know, my son. But in 3 years, 5 years, Taki.
I tried to tell you, but I did not know how. And then I could not, even if I wanted to. I wanted it to last one more hour, 1 more minute.
They stood there facing each other. The tall Marine and the girl with the ivory skin with the flower still in her hand, the flower already beginning to wilt.
Goodbye, Lacey. Thank you for the flower. I never forget you. Goodbye.
Hiroshi, what's this all about?
It is quite simple. 2 nights ago, the Japanese came to the leper colony. They took more than half my patients to Okinawa, headed toward the American lines.
Why?
To disrupt your advance. There was no chance of contagion, but, well, my patients do not all look as lovely as Taki.
Oh, I see. Schreckerkeit.
Exactly. A weapon of terror.
Yeah. Tabori? Yeah, Lacey.
I guess we better move on. You ready, pal?
Yeah. It's a long road back to Okinawa.
For me, the road back is longer
Christian and Steve Roberts. Editorial supervision is by John Benson, and the special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Lee Stevens. Next week, you are standing in a darkened room in the heart of Russia's dreadful Yonkers prison. Your mind tortured into blankness. But across the desk from you, happily smiling at you, is a chief of Russia's crippled, who intends to drive you to insanity or to death. So listen next week when Escape brings you Joan Dinger's exciting story, The Man with the Steel Teeth.
Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are in their spacesuits examining some mining equipment on a small planetoid.
The looks of things, old Captain Haggart doesn't intend to abandon these diggings.
Well, we warned them. If we left this machinery and explosives here, they'll have to be destroyed.
Commander, it's our ship.
Haggart must have sneaked aboard.
What does he think that'll get him? All we have to do is space it from Saturn.
Hap, listen.
What's that, sir?
Sounds like a warning pulsation from a detonator control.
Oh, where's it coming from?
Right from that stack of explosives. Hackett's trying to blow us up.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Captain Hackett's Planetoid.
Rockets away, Captain. Here it comes. Smoking rockets. This pocket-sized cosmic rocket launcher sure is terrific. A rocket with a miniature Snap-on scout car. Real neat. No wonder everybody wants one.
Right, Hap. And Space Patrollers, wait till you try out your own swell cosmic rocket launcher. Lots of fun, plenty of action.
Just press the trigger and whoom, watch it zoom down that nylon cord. Wham! Hits a target and bang, down goes the scout car.
Right. You bat it yourself from the trigger of its stainless steel launching gun. It travels down 33 feet of special nylon cords.
Send it on long trips or short hops. Launch it solo or with one of your pals.
Launch it over and over and over. The rocket and its Snap-on double-deck scout car are specially constructed of slick, durable plastic.
Weatherproof and shatterproof plastic in keen-looking colors, red and yellow. Okay, Captain, tell the Space Patrollers how they can get a cosmic rocket launcher. Go ahead, that's an order.
Yes, sir. Just send a Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box top, or send the special premium panel from the side of a Nestle's Quick Can, or the lid, together with your name and address and 25 cents in coin, to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time.
Rockets away, Space Patrollers. Send for yours today.
And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Captain Hackett's Planetoid. The Space Patrol, under the direction of Commander Corey, continues the unrelenting search for Prince Baccarati. For the time being, however, the evil prince seems to have suspended his criminal operations. Right now, on Saturn's sixth moon, the Space Miners Outfitting and Supply Company is having its own special problem, for Captain Hackett is in camp. It is the bad fortune of Wilbur Jenkins, assistant manager, to be on duty alone in the supply center as the old Space Miner storms in.
There's my list, Jenkins, all itemized. How soon can you fill that order and get supplies to my ship?
I'm very sorry, Captain Hackett, but we simply can't extend any more credit.
Jenkins, you're an idiot. What would you say if I told you I'll be back in 90 days with 100,000 credits worth of molybdenum.
Molybdenum?
No, son. Multiplied everything all over the satellite. Listen, I've located some wolframite with a high content of molybdenum. In a few months, I can make enough to retire. Well, that's the story. Now get busy before it's lost.
I'm very sorry, Captain Hackett. It's a matter of policy. No more credit.
All right, Jenkins. You'll be sorry. Give me my list.
As Captain Hackett angrily strides out of the Space Miner's supply house, two men follow him at a discreet distance. At the spaceport, the miner taunts toward a battered spaceship with the two men strolling after him.
What if he recognized you? We've been on Saturn number 6 for 3 days, and no one has recognized me. Don't worry. No one is going to suspect Prince Baccarati of loitering around a remote mining supply center. Just let me do the talking. Yes, Mr. Borzak. Excuse me. You're Captain Hackett, aren't you?
That's right. What about it?
I'm Paul Borzak, and this is my partner, John Fairclough. We're in the investment business on Jupiter. Perhaps you heard of me?
Borzak, huh? Nope, never did.
I couldn't help overhearing. I thought perhaps you and I might work out something together.
What do you mean by that?
Just this. If you're sure you can bring back a payload, I might finance you, stake you to supplies and equipment.
And for what percentage of the profits?
What do you expect to make on your first payload?
100,000, maybe.
Would you give me a quarter of that?
That's fair enough, Mr. Borzak.
How much will you need to outfit your ship and settle your account with the supply company?
Altogether, 4,500 credits.
All right. Captain, here are 5 1,000 credit notes. Go back to the center and get what you need.
Okay, Mr. Borzak. Wait till Jenkins sees this.
Oh, just a minute, Captain. I'd prefer that no one else knew that I am backing you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Every dead bee on the 6th moon will be after you for a handout. Well, don't worry, Mr. Borzak. I'm good at keeping secrets. You have to be in this business.
Will you, Hanny? What next? When he blasts off, we'll trail him in another ship. We'll find out where he gets that wolframite ore. An accident will happen to Captain Hackett, and I'll have his secret all to myself.
Far off the regular space lanes, the Terra 5 roars along in a sweeping vector over the Saturn orbit. Buzz and Happy intently watch the viewscope screen as the scanning beams probe the blackness that surrounds them.
I think I've got it, sir. Yep, it's an asteroid, and a big one.
Check the space coordinates, Hap.
Yes, sir.
The baby we're after will give a close inspection. Might even be worth sending some lab ships out to make tests.
Yes, sir, but why bother to make tests if it's going to be blown up?
The experts might be able to tell where it originally came from. Some of the Neptune astronomers think it might not be a part of our solar system. Maybe a wanderer from another system.
Well, it got caught in the gravity field of our sun.
Yes. If it was thrown off by another system, our scientists want to sample it.
Whatever force kicked that planetoid in our direction sure must have given it a terrific wallop.
Hap, look at the screen.
But the ship is landing on that asteroid. Maybe the lab ship is ahead of us.
Yeah, it's not a lab ship, Hap. It's like a small cargo ship.
What's a cargo ship landing there for? Must be a tramp ship in trouble.
I'll increase our velocity, Hap. You try to contact them by spacephone.
Repeated calls by Happy failed to bring any response from the ship landed on the tiny planetoid. Moments later, the Terra 5 settles down on the mysterious mass of metal and rock close to the small cargo ship.
Commander, look. Somebody's coming toward us.
Well, I might have known it.
What do you mean, sir?
I recognize that ship now. It belongs to Captain Hackett. He's been prospecting for years in the asteroid belt. If anybody would find this offbeat chunk of rock, Captain Hackett would be the man.
Oh, a space miner.
Sir, on the space phone.
Yes, sir.
Commander Corey aboard Terra 5 calling Captain Hackett. Do you read me, Captain?
Yes, Commander, I read you.
I tried to contact your ship. Having trouble?
Until you landed. And a man working his digging out the Space Patrol barging in. What's wrong now?
Better come aboard, Captain, and I'll explain. Corey out.
He doesn't
sound as though he likes you. Or the Space Patrol either.
That's his general attitude toward everybody, huh?
Well, there's the warning light, sir. There's an arrow.
Open the inner, huh? Well, welcome aboard, Captain. Captain Haggart, this is Cadet Happy.
How do you do, Captain?
May I ask what you're doing in this planetoid, Captain?
Doing a little prospecting. And I got a right to. This is my planetoid by right of discovery. I've already filed my claim. The papers are in my ship. Now, anything wrong with that?
No, nothing's wrong. But it might be dangerous to stay here.
What do you mean, dangerous?
Captain, I'm sorry, but this planetoid is going to be blown up with a cosmic bomb.
Blown up? What for?
Because of its eccentric orbit. In a few days, it'll cross the orbits of the inner planets.
So what? It won't be a menace to space travel?
That's where we disagree, Captain. It'll pass close to the sun. The tremendous gravity pull will hurl it into a new orbit, an unstable orbit. It'll be a menace to artificial satellites circling Mercury, Earth, Terra, and Venus. No telling how much damage it'll do before it finally spirals into the sun.
I won't have it. This is the biggest strike ever made in my life. Now you say you're going to blast it with that cosmic bomb.
Strike? What kind of a strike?
Wolfenite. Richest ore I ever saw. There's millions of credits worth of molybdenum right under this ship.
Captain, listen to me. I'll have a lab ship come here and make some tests. If there is valuable ore here, you can put in a claim to the government for a reasonable amount.
Reasonable amount? Well, 50 million credits would be a reasonable amount.
Captain, with your present equipment, could you get 50 million credits worth of ore out of here before the planetoid crashes into the sun, say in 10 days?
Why, no, of course not.
So whether we bomb the planetoid or not, it'll be destroyed. Keep that in mind. So you'll get a fair indemnity if you cooperate.
Well, you should put it that way.
There's a lab ship on Saturn moon number 6. I can have it out here for tests in a few hours.
Saturn 6? Well, that's... I was thinking maybe I could file my claim on Saturn 6.
Fine. Now, for your own safety, Captain, I suggest you stay clear of this planetoid until you hear from me. I'll stop off at Saturn 6 and make arrangements for the ore tests.
Later, in a small room at a small space hotel on Saturn 6, Captain Haggart explains this recent turn of events to his backer, a man he knows as Mr. Borzak, but who actually is Prince Baccarati. Baccarati's accomplice, John Feldkamp, squirms uncomfortably at the news. Baccarati, alias Borzak, seems unperturbed.
Captain, didn't it occur to you that you are being taken advantage of? Cheated?
Huh? What do you mean?
How do you know this planetoid will spiral into the sun and be destroyed?
Why, Commander Corey said so.
Of course. Now, suppose the government pays you a few thousand credits and then proceeds to mine the minerals itself. And suppose the planetoid doesn't strike the sun. You will have given away your fortune.
Father, Corey always impressed me as being honest.
Every man has his price, Captain. And in this case, millions are involved.
Now, wait. Corey didn't know there was anything valuable there.
Are you sure he didn't? Anyway, isn't that strange that Corey was suddenly so anxious to have you filed for damages? Yeah. He wants you out of the way. Cheap and late.
Well, I don't know.
Captain Hackett, where is your famous shrewdness, your knowledge of man? Why, I heard that nobody could put anything over the intelligent Captain Hackett.
Nobody's going to put anything over on me, especially the Space Patrol. I'll fix them. I won't sign anything. And what's more, I'll take care of Corey. See you later, gentlemen.
Oh, wow. Captain's really mad. Yeah, but how's that going to help us? You know Corey wouldn't lie. Space Patrol really will blow up that planetoid.
Of course. We'll lose out on a valuable ore. But we'll soon be rid of Corey.
And I'm jealous of you.
Captain Hackett is furious. He'll go all over the supply center making threats against Commander Corey.
Yeah, but he won't carry him out. He's just a big bag of wind.
Yes. But suppose something does happen to Corey, who do you think will be blamed?
Your Highness,
you're a genius.
Near the spaceport on Saturn 6 is a small building reserved for Space Patrol personnel. After arranging for a lab ship test of Captain Hackett's planetoid, Buzz and Appy say goodnight in the corridor, and Buzz goes to his room. As he turns on the light, a man wearing the mask points a paralyzer ray gun at him.
Hold it, Corey. Hold it, Corey. I warned you. Now watch this
closely, Commander. There's nothing you can do except look. You know what this is? The gas cylinder. Full of tetramethanite gas under pressure. Used in mining operation and it's poison. You didn't know that before. You will in a moment. Put the cylinder on the floor. Excuse me. This gas works fast. Goodbye, Commander.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
Wow, Captain Two-Fell. Our cosmic rocket launcher sure went traveling that time.
Yes, sir. Space Patroller used all 33 feet of launching cord. Hey, let's make this trip a short one, okay?
Okay. All set? Here goes. You see, Captain? A direct hit.
Yes, a direct hit every time, Space Patroller. Hey, do you want to launch it solo for a while?
You bet.
Gang, you can have the same kind of neat fun my pal and I are having right now with a cosmic rocket launcher like ours. Now, the rocket is 6 inches long with a snap-on double-deck scout car, specially constructed of shatterproof red and yellow plastic. You rig it on a break-proof nylon cord, and you get 33 feet of it for long trips or short hops. You launch it by pressing the trigger on a stainless steel launching gun. Down that cord it whizzes with lightning-fast speed, hits its target, and automatically releases the scout car. And say, there's a secret place in the scout car for secret messages.
Space Patroller, here's the message I've got in my scout course for all of you from Commander Corey. Read it to him, Captain Two-Fell.
To get a super keen cosmic rocket launcher of your own, just send a Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box top, or send the special premium panel from the side of a Nestle's Quick Can, or the lid, together with your name and address, and 25 cents in coin, to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now back to our Space Patrol adventure, Captain Hackett's Planetoid. Prince Baccarati has contrived a way to dispose of Commander Corey, so the blame will be placed on Captain Hackett. Baccarati's accomplice, John Feldkamp, rendered Commander Corey helpless with a paralyzer ray gun, then opened the valve of a container of poisonous gas used in mining operations. Unaware of the peril buzzes in, Happy sits on his bunk in his room down the hall, reading a microfilm book. Suddenly, he cuts off the projector and walks down the hall to the commander's door.
Smoking rockets. Commander, what happened?
Gas. It's poison.
Here, I'll shut it off. I better get you out in the hall. A paralyzer ray, huh?
Yes.
Oh.
That's better. You got here just in time, Happy.
I forgot what time you wanted me to report in the morning. I just came down to find out.
Yeah, there's one time I'm grateful for your lapse of memory.
Same here. Who did it?
I couldn't tell. He was wearing mining clothes. He wore a mask. You can look over now. Help I stand up.
Yes, sir. What kind of gas was that?
Tetramethanite. Miners use it to test for certain minerals. And the gas in there is partly dissipated by now. If you get the cylinder out of the room, we'll take it over to the supply center and see if we can trace the serial number.
Yes, Commander. That cylinder was bought here at this store. Here's the card. You see, here's the serial number, the date of purchase, and the name of the purchaser.
Fine. Who bought the cylinder?
Oh, Captain Hackett.
Captain Hackett?
Well, Hackett seems to be getting careless with his supplies. Well, come on, Happy. Let's get back to our quarters. Thanks, Mr. Jenkins.
Anytime, Commander.
Commander, Hackett must be crazy to do what he did.
It wasn't Hackett, Happy. Sure, I'd recognize Hackett's voice.
But, Commander, when we last saw Hackett, you and he were almost pals. Why did he change?
Let's ask Hackett. He's probably headed for his planetoid.
Sir, the ship's not ready. The maintenance crew will be working on it for another 3 hours.
They'll check out the small lunar job.
How come you told me you finished Corey, and now you tell me he's alive?
Look, I don't know what happened, Your Highness. Something went wrong. Corey and the cadet went into the store a while ago carrying the gasoline.
Confound it. I'll bet that cadet rescued him. Where's that old fool, Captain Hackett?
I think he's blasted off for his planetoid.
We've got to get him before Corey has a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, but Hackett doesn't know. He tried to do away with Corey.
Of course not. But suppose Corey looks us up to check Hackett's story.
He'll recognize it.
Exactly.
Oh, he's still on Moon 6. Crew's working on his ship at the port.
Come on. We'll get to the spaceport. We've got to make sure Corey never finds Haggart alive.
There you are, Your Highness. That's Haggart's Planetoid.
Are you sure that's the one?
Yeah, of course. I told you I located it when I trailed Haggart the other day. Well, what's our procedure? Land, take him aboard, and then dispose of him later?
No. The Space Patrol would find his ship and wonder what became of him. We'll finish him right there on the Planetoid.
That's worse. They'll know what happened to him, then.
We'll make it look like an accident. Haggart must have explosives in his ship or around his diggings. Everyone on Saturn takes note. He's wiped out, angry. How natural to assume the captain got careless.
Now you're talking. That'll solve everything.
Say, Commander, suppose Haggart isn't just a hot-headed guy who popped off. Suppose that fellow in the mask was a pal of Hackett's.
It's a possibility, Hap. You'll soon know.
Elsewhere, Prince Baccarati's space cruiser lands on Hackett's Planetoid near the miner's cargo ship. After a brief spaceophone conversation, Captain Haggart enters the airlock, opens his helmet face piece, and glares at the men on the ship.
How did you find this planetoid, Borzak?
You can't expect to keep this secret indefinitely, Captain. After all, the Space Patrol knows about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Why did you come here?
I've made up my mind to work my claim until I'm forced off. I'll make an issue of it. You men back me, so it's only fair to warn you. In case you don't want to get involved with the Space Patrol.
You can work this claim by yourself?
Sure, I got machinery and explosives. It works.
Oh, you plan to use explosives, eh?
I'll probably have to. I've got electronic detonators, Mr. Borzak. I can set them on the charge, walk away a few hundred yards, press a switch, and boom.
Very interesting. I'd like to see this equipment.
Well, the portable control mechanism's in the ship. But the rest of the stuff's down there in that crater-like depression where all the heavy equipment is.
Your Highness, look at the view scope.
Ship. It's coming right toward us.
Now let them come. I'm staying right here. Say, wait a minute. Feldkamp, what did you call him? Your Highness?
Yes, Captain. You did call me by my rightful title. I'm Prince Baccarati.
Baccarati? Crook. I thought your face looked familiar. Wait a minute. You were lying about Corey.
Yes, Captain. But it's too late to do anything about it. Get him, Captain. Use your ray gun.
You'd better blast off quick, Your Highness.
Wait a minute. We still have time to carry out our plan. Falcon, close Hackett's space helmet and carry him down into the crater, below the mining equipment.
Okay.
Then get the detonator control out of Hackett's ship. You can hide behind those rocks over there. Then I'll blast off.
Wait a minute. You mean you're leaving me here?
Just for a short time. If that ship lands and someone gets out to investigate, you blow out the explosive. Then I'll come back and get you.
How can I be sure?
Well, even if I don't, you still have Hackett's ship for a getaway, or even the ship that's now on its way.
I still don't like it. I've taken all the risks.
That's the way it's going to be. Now, get Haggart out of here. I want to blast off before that other ship sees me.
By the time Commander Corey lands the small lunar ship on the planetoid, Prince Baccarati's cruiser is a tiny speck, almost invisible, in the black voided space. When Haggart fails to answer their spaceophone call, Buzz and Happy get out of their ship and in their spacesuits make their way across the rough, rocky surface toward the stacks of supplies and mining equipment.
Didn't like Haggart to hide out. Maybe he's down the crater setting up drilling equipment.
Commander, it's our ship. Somebody sneaked aboard and blasted off.
Captain Haggart.
What does he think that'll get? All we have to do is space up on Saturn and... Hey, we can take off after him in his own ship. It'll be faster anyway.
Pat, listen.
What's that, sir?
Sounds like a warning pulsation from a detonator control.
Detonator control? Where's it coming from?
Right from that stack of explosives. Haggart's trying to blow us up.
By remote control? From our ship?
Yes, he must have had a portable rig.
He would better get out of this crater.
We'll never make it. Pat, stay here. I'm going to try to reach that detonator.
What?
On top of the explosives. If I can break that control circuit.
Can you locate the switch?
I hope this is the right one. Keep down.
Commander, the signal stopped.
If nothing happens in 5 seconds, we're safe. 3, 4. Well, might as well get up. We made it.
Yes. Hate to know by how many millionths of a second. Well, you're taking this calmly.
Well, I figured you knew what you were doing. Now... Hey, Commander, look. Somebody at the bottom of the crater.
Come on, Hap.
Sir, if that was Haggart that blasted off in our ship, well, then who's this?
I think I recognize that spacesuit, Hap. This is Captain Haggart.
It is? Well, then who tried to blow us up? Who blasted off in our ship?
Somebody who wanted us and Captain Haggart out of the way.
Hellcamp calling Fritz Baccarati. Hellcamp calling Fritz Baccarati. Got out here, spaceophone, you fool. I'm coming back. But something went wrong. There wasn't an explosion. Corey's still alive. Baccarati, you hear me? I'm in one of those slow lunar-type ships. Come back. Pick me up aboard your ship. Your Highness, come back. I have no time for bunglers. Baccarati, Fritz Baccarati. Your Highness, help me.
Haggart may still be alive. We'll get him aboard his ship and blast off after that lunar job.
How do you feel now, Captain?
All right, Commander. Why, you're aboard my ship.
That's right.
Commander, I owe you an apology. I was a fool.
Commander, there's a lunar-type ship. We're gaining fast.
It's Hellcamp.
Hellcamp? That's Baccarati's partner. They lied to me, Commander.
I know.
Watch out for Baccarati. He's a slick one.
Unfortunately, Baccarati isn't in that ship. Just got Hellcamp to deal with. Turn on the spacephone here. Commander Corey, to Feldkamp aboard lunar-type ship S687. Corey to Feldkamp. We've got you in our view scope, and we're gaining on you fast. What's your decision? I'm waiting, Feldkamp.
Hellcamp, Commander Corey. I've given up. I cut off all rockets.
What about Baccarati? Where's he headed?
I don't know. That's the truth. If I knew, I'd tell you. You double-crossed me.
Stand by to board this ship, Feldkamp. Corey out.
Commander, I owe you and the Cadet plenty. You saved me from Baccarati and his pal. All along, you were trying to help me. I went around saying those lies about you.
Forget it, Captain. You were deceived, that's all.
Sure, and you were worried about losing that planetoid.
That's right. Something that important would upset anybody.
Oh, well, maybe it's all for the best. I used to envy fellows that struck it rich. People would point to them and say, there's so-and-so, king of uranium. Or, look, that's the king of cobalt. That's what I thought I wanted.
Yeah, but how many people can say, there goes Haggart, the king of the molybdenum?
No, Happy, it's molybdenum. Molybdenum. Molybdenum.
There, you see, I told you nobody could say molybdenum. I said it!
In just a moment, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure brought to you by Nestle's Quick for the greatest tasting chocolate milk and those famous Nestle's chocolate bars.
Hi, Space Patrollers. This is Tony Sides, and I'm telling you the new cosmic rocket launcher is sensational. Here's what you get again. A break-proof plastic rocket and scout car. 33 feet of tough nylon cord. And a stainless steel trigger. Fire it and wham! The rocket shoots to its target and automatically releases the scout car in midair. Fast? Wow! The only thing faster is the way Nestle's Quick disappears. Honest, Quick makes milk so chocolatey, so delicious. Just like Nestle's chocolate bar. You want it all the time. To make the best chocolate milk in the universe. And get that cosmic rocket launcher. Just do this. Ask your mom to buy the brown and yellow can of Nestle's Quick. Then send the premium panel from the label, or lid from the Nestle's can, or a Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box top, together with your name and address and 25 cents in coin, to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And hurry.
Now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy, wounded in a fight with two of Baccarati's agents, have collapsed before the open door of a huge spaceship hangar on the planet Venus.
The storm's getting worse, Commander.
If we can crawl inside that hangar and close the door, we'll be safe.
Dust. I can hardly breathe.
In a minute, we'll have a thick 80-ton door between us and the wind. Keep going, Hap. A few more feet.
Commander, the hangar door. It's closing.
Move fast, Hap.
I can't. Hurry. We're right under the door. If it hits us, we're finished.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Capture of the Red Falcon. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Bela Kovacs, Norman Jelly, Ken Mayer, and Tony Sides. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday for daring, exciting adventure on Space Patrol. Space Patrol was brought to you today by Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your newspaper for time and channel. This program is broadcast for Armed Forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.